Hello and welcome out to this week's episode of Gamers Council. I'm one of your hosts, WebDave, along with my co-host, RHETRI. What's up, RHETRI? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. Another Sunday, more topics. We got some panel members here that if you're a pony, you're probably not gonna like this show. Let's just say that. We got I'm a little psychic. I kind of know where these guys are coming from. I might have an idea of their thought process. So I think it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be spicy, but I'm glad to be here, man. And thank you guys for coming out and joining us, Hargeet and Pixel Bit G, man. Like you guys.
Yes, welcome both guys.
Appreciate the invite. I think it's gonna be probably not spicy. It'll be warm.
Warm.
Lukewarm.
So, Hargeet, we know that you like spicy food because you dominated on the challenge.
You got it ready, dude. This is why Hargeet keeps getting invited back because he's like, it's gonna be lukewarm. Pixel Bit G. Press the button.
I was only talking to myself, so let's let Hargeet do what the Hargeet does.
Saddle up.
Pony's got to eat too, so. Keep looking that.
Goodness. It is. Oh my goodness. Welcome, Hargeet. Welcome.
How's it going? So I've been on vacation for the last week, so and it goes all the way through January 2. So I'll be playing a whole bunch of games, and that's all I've been doing is really just finishing games.
That's awesome.
I've cut my backlog. I was over 100 games. Installed on my Xbox. It's down to like 75 or something. So
just living the dream right now.
What are you?
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. I mean, I've been seeing you. I've been seeing you constantly online. So yeah, I saw you playing some.
Sleep.
Yeah, sleep. Yeah, that's for suckers and old people.
Who needs
like
that?
myself.
That's for salt licking ponies.
I love it.
Oh my goodness. RHETRI, let's get this party started.
Sure thing, Dave. Let's get into this. Might be a long list for Hargeet, so I'm gonna go to Pixel first. What have you been playing? Any games and any TV shows or anything that or movies for that instance that have your interest lately? What you been playing, Pixel?
Well, in terms of the TV shows, it is all about Invincible right now, so
my man.
I'm sad because I'm not seeing the commentary online about it. It is fire right now. Like this show is crazy.
So underrated.
Yeah, so this the last two episodes have been superb. In terms of games, I am still stuck in Starfield. I can't seem to get out. But in between, I'm mixing up some time with Spider-Man. Probably got I think I'm like level 25 or 26 on Spider-Man now. So I'm finally rolling through that game. And then I just picked up Dave the Diver, which I should not have. I picked up a bunch of games, but Dave the Diver, damn, it's good. So
that indie game?
Yo, it reminds me of like I don't know the story behind it, but I know it's definitely the quality is a lot higher than the indie. But it reminds me of Burger Time. Like it's a mix of a diving game or Tapper, like one of those games back in the days, right? So that those bar maintenance games. So it has a great
port that over to consoles. Like it's a big publisher. You figure they have the resources.
Damn good. I'm like, why is this thing stuck on Steam?
Yeah.
No disrespect to Steam. I'm enjoying it on my deck, but yeah, like this game needs to be on every damn platform. I think it's on Switch too, right?
Did it finally come? I think it did. I think you're right.
Go to Switch.
Too. So it's on Switch
as the first console.
Steam, like, bro, bring it to the other consoles. This game is crazy good. So so that's been my little middle mixed game in between, more NG Plus and Starfield. So yeah,
very nice. Let's go to you, Hargeet. I'm just gonna ask you. I know you don't watch a lot of TV and movies, so what have you been playing besides everything? Apparently.
So starting with I sort of finished at the end of last month. We had Persona 5 leave, so I was just running through that as fast as I can.
Yeah.
So I finished that, and then I finished. Here's the list of the Coffee Talk 2, Frog Detective, A Short Hike, Hoa, Transference, Tome, Gisant, The Path of Modus.
What?
Zora Chronicles, Myth Seekers 2, Agatha Christie, Hercule Poirot, The London Case, Mario Wonder, High on Life, and then Siberia: The World Before. So
all right. I got to ask you, are you married?
No.
Okay, that explains it. My
That's
wife
the
would have
only way
killed me
that's
if I played that
possible.
many games.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I just
Would you
good
like
for you,
to be?
Hargeet.
I played a lot more, by the way. I
was like,
played a lot more
that's
than I'm
so
like,
jealous.
this isn't for me. I moved on. But because of Game Pass, like my gaming has
Right.
become so different because of Game Pass.
Yeah.
Right? But it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so I've been plowing through a whole
Jesus.
bunch of them.
That's a lot of games, man.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
that's
nice.
you know what it is.
Awesome.
Like Hargeet was saying, he's like that he's on vacation, and like I am too. Obviously, I work from home. I'm on vacation all the time. But yeah, it's a good time. Like the whole Thanksgiving thing. Like it was a great time to try to kill that backlog just a little bit, because I'm like Hargeet. Like he was saying, like his backlog was like 100 deep, and mine's probably the exact same way. So yeah.
Yeah, so
Nice.
like I played Everspace 2, for instance, for probably like
Oh,
5,
nice.
6, 7 hours. That doesn't count
Yeah.
in that list of finished games, but I played it for quite a while, and I'm like, okay, I got enough out of this, right? And there's a whole bunch of games like that, like literally like dozens of games that I just went through. I'm
Right.
like, cool, not for me. Or I spent hours and hours in it, and then gave up. Another one was it's Arcade Paradise. I think that was the name of it.
Oh yeah.
I didn't
Oh,
finish it.
yeah.
I didn't roll credits
Yeah.
on it, but I kept playing it and kept playing it. I probably put in like 7 hours.
That game is
Yeah.
so good.
I know a lot of people who like that game. Yeah. A lot
Yeah.
of people were praising that one.
Right.
Yep.
So, and then Halo. There's Halo. I've been playing Halo here and
Mhm.
there. But yeah. So yes, Halo's gotten good.
Yes, it has. Yeah, we'll definitely be talking about that tonight. Dave, what about you, buddy? Have you been playing anything or?
Just on a little bit. I actually haven't been playing a lot of games this week. Doing a lot of
Because of
setting up
family.
for the holiday. yes, holiday stuff, and
Giving 'em your
watched a
time.
bunch of Christmas movies and things like that
Yeah.
already. So we've already got a few of those things ticked off the list, and still waiting to watch my favorite holiday Christmas movie that nobody else in the family likes to watch but me. But I don't care because I love
What
it.
is it? I want to
Emmett
know.
Otter's Jug Band Christmas.
What
from
the
the Jim
fuck is
Jim
that?
Jim Henson made it. It was an exclusive for
Oh,
HBO
okay.
for a long
Yep.
time, and
Sounds
now
like
it's available
Is it?
everywhere.
All this. Yep.
And it's actually all Frank
I have to
Oz
look
does a
that
lot
up.
of stuff on it. It's pretty awesome. It has nice little kids type story, but there's a rock band in it, and the music is done by John Williams. It's pretty cool.
Really?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Now I'm intrigued.
There you go.
Nice. Yeah. I watched my first holiday movie, Gremlins, and I don't give a shit if anyone thinks it's not a
Nice.
holiday movie.
That's what's up.
Love that movie. That's
Okay,
that's
we're gonna do a
classic right
poll
there.
question. Is Die
Oh,
Hard a
God, here we
Christmas
go.
movie? It's coming. Don't
Yeah,
answer.
okay.
but
Yeah.
it's coming.
Yeah. I mean, we all know the right answer to that. It's coming.
Of course it
There's
is.
one right answer for that.
Yeah.
Yippee-ki-yay,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
there's
Yes.
definitely a right answer. Yeah, I've been playing COD too. Been grinding on that big time. I think
But it's a
the
4 out of
game is
10. Why are you
really
playing
good.
that?
Because I don't listen to IGN. Basically, I feel like if they shit on a game now, I'm gonna end up liking it.
That's
so
the game to
I'm
play,
just,
right?
I'm just going to poll. Yeah, I love it, man. It's weird to me that the scores were so low just based on the campaign, and just ignoring that it's probably the best multiplayer mechanic wise it's literally ever been. But let's still shit on it. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But hey, apparently the campaign, had a lot of weight for a lot of these scores, which I call bullshit. To maybe little Xbox tax there, little spring. I don't know. We'll get into that.
Is the
might-
game like 90% multiplayer?
Yeah, crazy, right? Pixel. It's almost
Seems
like
your-
yeah,
Your weighting system
Seems-
is based on bullshit. That's crazy.
yeah. Seems like you might be full of something. Yeah. So I don't know, man. It is, yeah. You know how it is. But we'll definitely we'll get into that sort of talk about the Xbox tax and stuff further into the show a little bit. We're gonna start off with Xbox and their presence at the VGAs. I know there's some strong feelings about this. I kind of know where Pixel kind of
You already
feels
know
about
where
this a
I'm at
little
on
bit.
this, so.
I know that. Yeah, this is why I'm kind of glad that you're here, because I kind of I feel what you've been saying on Twitter, but I kind of also feel the opposite in some regards too. But that's why we're here. We can
both are
agree, we can
valid.
disagree and still respect each other's opinion at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
But
I might not respect you do it on Twitter, but hey, I'm good. You know?
Right, you'll respect me here on Twitter and be like, "F this guy." Yeah. I'm gonna ask you guys what we saw. Like Jez said some stuff. Jez Gordon said some stuff about
Big Jez,
there being a presence for Xbox. It feels weird. It's like this is a story. Like people had to write about it. That Jez is saying that Xbox is going to be there, and I'm just like, duh, yeah. I understand they weren't like what happened last year, and I think that had to do with ABK personally because we know Xbox had stuff in the chamber. We know they had plenty to show. They just didn't. So I think that's
a choice that Phil
that
made.
is a
You're
choice.
Right.
That is a choice being made because of ABK, in my opinion. They have plenty
to look
of
like
show,
the wounded dog.
Yeah, exactly. Like limping in, like, oh no, well, we got nothing going on. We got nothing going on.
We need
please pass my $70 billion deal. Please. Yeah, we got shit going on. Yeah.
Please,
Sony, go Sony.
Can I have Activision, please? Thank you.
Please, sub. I have enough.
I mean, the clear thing is like January onwards, they just kept showing awesome stuff. So you knew they had it.
Right. It's like
they had those
in
in
the
game, right? They had those. Hi-Fi could have been announced there, coming out in a month. They didn't, right? They held it back for their own show. So obviously, they had stuff ready to go.
Exactly. Yeah. They had it, cocked already in the chamber, and they were just like, nah. Screw you, Keeley. I don't know. I think it was ABK related, but Ryu Arts
I don't
just
think they
became.
Would do that.
I don't think so either. I don't think so either. You got the most amount of eyes, right? So why would you hold back on that? Sure. But Pixel has something to say about that. Pixel and me can probably disagree on this one subject for sure.
That's fine. I mean, listen, look, Xbox is big enough now to be big boys and do their own thing. So
I don't disagree with you there, Pixel.
I don't disagree with that. Like, fuck you, and let's just give you Game Pass, right? Like, let me give you like 3 banging Game Pass commercials. Let's get it, right? So I'm supporting your show, but I'm not blowing my load for you. I'm just not doing it, right? But I would say, I would say, give them 3 Game Pass. I went 3 Game Pass ads, and one game. Give them the Hellblade release date. And that's it.
For this one, you're just saying like just some commercials and Hellblade 2.
Commercials and Hellblade. Yeah, because it's a big audience, right? But it's like they last year, they were highlighting Phil's face and shit for awards that he wasn't involved in. There was shady business going on last year, very disrespectful business, and it is what it is. But they're big enough now that like, we're going to announce a show right in January. And then we're going to show you what's good in January. But if you want to give people a taste, put them on the Hellblade, because you kind of started Hellblade there, right? You first demoed, showed it at Keighley like 2 years ago or something like that. I think they showed like another demo a year ago or something, or 2 years ago. I'm not sure the timeline.
2019 was when they
the
first showing Xbox Series X console reveal. Right afterwards was Hellblade Senua's Saga.
So they did a second one at some point, right? Too, right?
And that was right. Was it last year or was it the year before?
I kind of think it was last year.
It might have been the year before, but one of those years, right? They had like another gameplay trailer.
Right, quote unquote, right?
That nobody assumed was gameplay.
This year, you go hard, you give them the combat trailer, and the combat that we know this is a walking simulator. So for folks who are confused,
you're right.
Hellblade is a walking simulator. It's not God of War. Yeah. So you come online talking some nonsense about why it's not God of War, I'm gonna virtually slap you. It's not God of War.
You're right, Pixel. I'm 100% with you on that regard, because I think some people were getting it mixed up where there's like the graphic fidelity and the aesthetic of it versus like the gameplay mechanics.
They went back and adjusted their, they've worked on combat. So I expect improved combat, yes.
Right.
Do I expect this to be heavily combat? Do I expect this to be heavily combat focused? Hell no.
Yeah. No.
So I do expect the combat trailer, and then you give them the date, early 2024. But then you do your deep dive, January or whatever, that actually goes a little deeper into the game. So give people a taste, like, oh, Xbox got some things coming. But I don't think you blow it all out. And if they do anything outside of that, I say third-party exclusions, right? Because it's a third-party crowd. So you
Right.
give them the third-party exclusions. But those first parties, you got 4,000 studios. Do your own thing.
I love that.
Hey,
Oh, I know,
RHETRI,
like Phil did say.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, you're
RHETRI,
good.
real quick. Read that so I can
Yeah,
get
right.
on.
Yeah, sure. Ryu Art became a YouTube member. What's up, brother? Appreciate you. I seen you around. I appreciate
We
that,
also have a
brother.
lot of great people in the chat. We have like Post Up is
Yeah.
in there. We have Paris
What's up,
Lilies in the
Post?
chat. We have Plume
Paris.
Network.
What's up,
We
brother?
have Silent Cipher and a whole bunch of other great people that are members of the community that are in the chat tonight. So Masshole as well. Thanks, guys. We appreciate you being here. And there's over 75 other people that are here as well. Please hit the like button if you get a chance and hang out with us. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. RHETRI, sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good, brother. Paris saying Hellblade 2 should be God of War. I think he's trolling right there. I think. Yeah,
I'm sending
you
the
trolling
protein
Paris.
snap
I don't believe that.
for Paris, right in Starfield. I'm gonna get him in Starfield.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see you at the eye, Paris. All right.
So do we want to go into this topic, or we?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Whatever
Hargeet,
you
want to step into this? What do you personally think? Like any big reveals? How do you think Xbox is going to show up at the VGAs? Do you think like Pixel that they're just gonna give them a little sprinkle Hellblade 2, maybe some third party stuff and get the F out of there, or do you think it'll go beyond that?
So looking at this, and I'm just taking emotion out of it, right? Like if you want to play, like, you know, hey, you did something bad to me, and I'm going to remember that forever, and screw you. That's not how business works, right? Microsoft literally is in co-opetition with everybody, right? Because no matter what, all these people that are competitors with them, they have contracts with Microsoft because they use their stuff. That's just the way it is, right? So Microsoft is used to this. This is just their norm, right? Everybody slings mud at them, but then also, oh yeah, can we make a nice deal? I want like some discounts on. This is just the way it is, right? So Microsoft knows how to say, okay, yeah, we have to take some crap, but who cares? We also have to do business. And how do I expand my market? And what is the best way to do that, right? I don't think Phil in any way is going to look at this opportunity as they don't give us like a game of the year, nominations. They got 10 nominations.
We're getting back at you for Starfield.
They got 10 nominations, folks.
Have some balls, Phil.
None of that's gonna matter. No, he has more balls by just saying, I don't care. You know what I'm looking at? Your 100 million viewers.
I'm absolutely joking.
Your 100 million viewers. Now, here's the thing. You could say, like last year, the mistake, which he recognized. You could see his face. He recognized it was a fail, was not taking advantage when the others were, right? When other people on your competition comes up and shows their stuff and you don't show up too, that just means you have nothing to give to the community, right? And so you have to be there, right? And especially now, it's impossible for this company at this level with 40 studios to go in with Zilchoid,
400.
right? You represent the top now. That's it. It's just the way it is. You are the top publisher. You have to come. You have to come. There's just no way out of it.
Yeah.
So they have
all
to
over
have
their
something.
faces.
They have to have something, right? Yeah. Pause. Right. But they have to show up. That's it. They have to show up. There's no way out of it now, right? So I would expect them to bring something to this. I don't know if it'll be at the level of here's our next console. That would be hilarious. But but they should come with something. They should show up. And Hellblade, that's just minimum to me. They need to come up with something that we haven't seen yet and bring it so that people say, okay, this is the selling season where maybe we can start looking at buying your console. There's massive deals going on right now if you haven't looked, right? Yeah. Series S is below $200, right? Series X is in the 300s.
GameSpot says that those deals don't exist for Xbox. I'm just saying.
That's true, Pixel.
GameSpot
they did put out a thing. It was all
okay.
That's true.
But
they can bring that up later too.
But they can show it, like you were saying, right? Ads for Game Pass. They can show deals for series consoles. Go to here, get it for this much, whatever, right? They could do that, right? So, but you have to show the goods. You have to give them a reason to come to your platform, and that's why you need to bring out the big guns. You need to put stuff out there. I would expect them to have something big. If they don't, it's a fail, right? If they're just going to bring Hellblade on for the 4th time, no, that's just not. It's not it. That's not enough, right? Yes, it might be a great game, but we've seen it enough. The only next thing I want to see from you is actual physical
Combat.
fighting. Like I want to see the actual I'm hitting buttons and it fights, and then the release date with it, right? When is this coming out? Yeah. Otherwise, just leave it. Yeah. I don't even want to see it. Then if you don't have that, just shut up and tell me when you're ready and show me what you need to do. No, they need to come up with new stuff. Bring up, even though we know it exists, Indiana Jones. What's happening with that? It's a movie tie-in game. It's a multimedia thing, right? So it perfectly aligns with what Keely's going after, right? Bring it there, right? Show it. What's going on? Give us an update, right? Hey, this game's coming 2025, 2026, whatever it is, 2024, whenever it's coming out, right? Let's show something. All we saw was a little teaser. Show something, right? This is the time to do that, right? There's other games in the works. They just also bought ABK. There are other things they can show, right, that we don't know about, and bring something to the table that people say, okay, well, this platform isn't something I should skip this time. Let me think about it, right? So that's something that they need to kind of do here. It's too big to say, no, I'm going to be petty and not
pound your chest.
You got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it.
Okay, I'll change my stance. Okay, it's fine. Okay,
don't 180 pixels. Stand your ground.
Nah, it's so comical. No, give them 3 Game Pass ads: Hellblade, Perfect Dark, and Indiana Jones. Give them the walking.
That would be good. That would be pretty good.
Give them those.
That'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
If they had a new game, that would be awesome as well. But if they could do something like that, that'd be great. But they do need to do something. They need to show up in some way. Right now, like this year has been kind of abysmal for PlayStation. They have a couple of good moments, Spider-Man being one of them, even though it had some bugs, but no pun intended. It still is a good moment for them. It landed pretty well. But they have had a lot of fails, a lot of stumbles, right? This is a chance to just go in like, hey, we just finished buying a $70 billion acquisition of ABK. We're on the road to going forward and making things happen. We want to make sure you're with us, right? So go do it. This is the thing to do, right? Right now is take advantage, right? So they should do that. I don't see any reason to go away from it. As the big dog, they now have to take some of that from everybody and still say, nope, we're going to show up everywhere, right? They have to, right? This is kind of their new thing. Or they're going to keep losing market share, and they don't want to do that, right? They want to keep growing and growing. That's the whole point. They want to grow. So they're going to have to be past this petty stuff, which, trust me, it's Microsoft. They get it from every angle. It's just normal for them.
They're always getting hate.
It's always like that, right? They know how to deal with that. That's not the end of the world. They'll just take the constructive criticism, ignore the rest, and move on. Just what they've been doing, right? This is what they've been doing.
Yeah.
Fair. I think, I'd be okay with just seeing like updates. Like I assume, maybe this is a bad assumption, I assume we're going to get some dates for, I assume we're going to get Hellblade 2 release date, because I think it's coming Q1 of next year. That's just me.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see some updates on like State of Decay, Perfect Dark, Everwild. That one's a stretch. I know I'm going to say Everwild, but whatever.
I don't think I'd bother with Everwild until they can really showcase what that is.
Probably BS. I just throw that out.
It's kind of an out there one. But there was some like multiplayer, massive multiplayer games that they were working on, right? That was part of Bethesda's group, was working on something there. There's games that Activision have been working on that are from their big studios. And
that's like, what I think might show up.
This is a time to show it. There's also that game from IO that they were working on, correct? There was a Project Dragon or something. We haven't seen that. Yeah. So that might be something, again, if it's something that seems to be good, right? It's going to look like it's going to be a good attraction to the platform. It might be a good one to show. Like, those are the kind of things they need to do. Something that differentiates. That would be kind of interesting to see, right? So,
yeah, Tavish was saying Indiana Jones. Yeah, I think I feel like that's a pretty good bet, at least in my head. Maybe I'm all by myself on that, but I know, like Jez mentioned, like we thought BlizzCon, we thought we were going to see Blizzard's new MMO game Odyssey come out. Didn't happen. Jez was kind of like, I told you guys something special was coming out. He was kind of making a joke about it. See, Phil Spencer came out on stage because he thought Odyssey was going to be there. So did I. So I think, like, to Hargeet's point, with all the eyes out there, I kind of agree with Hargeet. Like, you got to take emotion out of it. I would like to I would like Microsoft sometimes to be like you know what Pixel was saying, like F you, we're gonna do our own things. You know, screw you IGN, screw you Keeley's, we don't need you. Let's move on without you, and just do their own thing, which they're gonna do anyways, guys. They're gonna do like 4 shows a year minimum. But I would like to see. I think Odyssey maybe. This is the place where you do it. You got a new IP. That's a new IP right there. Like you want to show something new. It'll be your first, you know, showing of it right there, and with the most amount of eyes. Because as we know, whether you believe it or not, because a lot of people didn't believe this, that had more viewers than the Super Bowl. So, you know, combined, of course, you got all the streamers, you got the people restreaming it, and all these people, you know, replaying the VGAs. But still, that's a lot of eyes to ignore, in my opinion. But who knows? Maybe, you know. Maybe we'll see that. Question you guys, because this has been going on.
Hold on. Hold on.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
We got a super chat, and then of course I want my turn.
Yeah. Go ahead. Adidas20 with the $10 super chat says there are yeah, there's always a pony bots in the chat. One of them have yet to speak on Sony Horrific 2023. He has kind of funny feelings towards Xbox. I mean, I get it. You know, he's
well, you can't speak on it because 2024 is going to be worse.
What do you? I mean, it's fine. I mean, welcome, welcome, Ponybot. As long as you're respectful.
Adidas is. I love you to death, Adidas. But if you're referring to Paris, Paris is welcome here. So we love Paris.
Well, listen. I love Paris. I will not take any. I've been listening to Paris probably longer than anybody. Like since the beginning is like early days. So yeah, I'm not gonna take any Paris slander up in here. I know some of you Xbox guys love to do that shit.
And I think Adidas is just playing. I think Adidas is just.
No, I'm not talking about Adidas. I don't think. Okay. Yeah, I don't even know if he was talking about Paris.
True,
but
true.
Yeah, I don't know who he was talking about. Maybe it was, but yeah, no. Adidas, you're fine. I'm not gonna kick you. But my question is, there's been kind of rumors going on. We know at the VGAs, Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be announced. Now people are like, is it going to be on Game Pass? Do you guys think that they dropped the bag?
Let Dave get his bars in first, my guy.
For Lauren? Oh, I'm sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
That's all right.
My bad, dude. My bad. I already moved on.
No, I'm just kidding. We're throwing things all over the place. That's right. But hold that thought because we're definitely going to get to that question here in a minute. So my thought on the question that's scrolling right now, in what way will Xbox show up at the VGAs? And I think there can only be one way, and that is to absolutely dominate the marketing at the show. They absolutely, every break needs to be a Game Pass ad.
Yeah.
Everything you can think of, they need to bring to the kitchen sink. Now, I know there's probably like maybe we'll Hargeet correct me or tone me up and down if you think, but I'm assuming there's probably like 10 items that not necessarily games, but things that are going on in the Xbox ecosystem between now and what we call E3 coming up, that there's things that they want to talk about, you know, whether it be game dates, trailers, events, new game announcements, more functions to Game Pass, such as Family Plan. I think they're probably going to maybe 3 big things maybe here. And then that way they'll have some stuff for the beginning of the year. They'll have stuff for, you know, for the summertime shows. And then something big for the end of the year. So my thinking is that they need to bring everything. They need to bring, and can you imagine coming out with Game Pass ads saying just simply, you know, Game Pass, it's affordable for your family. It's where the games are. And starting January 1st, every Call of Duty game ever made is coming to Game Pass, and it's all included for just $14.99 a month. Moms and dads will be like, ooh, I can relate to that, you know, or whatever games, any other kind of games you want to throw at them, and then, you know, trickle things out. Maybe I'll make a few other announcements, you know, just so you know, coming to, you know, PC Game Pass is this and this. Why not throw things out there like that? So by the time the Keeleys are open or over with, I should say, maybe the big topic isn't who won the Game of the Awards, but who won the show, meaning Xbox. They're going to get a lot of traction if they went after it hard.
If you manage to pull out Family Pass at a show, that would be a gangster move. Like, you know, like, okay.
Starting today, as soon as the show's over, Family's available.
I don't know if they can
Maybe,
afford it or not.
Yeah,
but
I
that's-
personally don't think we're ever seeing that. I'm just saying.
You think
I
it's
don't know
dead?
they
You think
pulled it,
Family
right?
Plan is
I
dead?
think
Oh,
it's dead.
I
I
don't.
think they did
I
that
think
Really?
they
run.
can't afford to. I think the price will be higher than it was, but I think they can't afford not to have some kind of
I agree
family
with you,
pass.
Dave.
If they wanted
on
to
both
like
points.
go at it, right?
Oh,
just
yeah.
after the other side just increased their prices,
Mm-hmm.
and then just say, "Hey, we got
That
a
would
better
be.
option."
It would be amazing. I mean, I need it.
So,
Yeah.
like I said, that's
You know?
obviously speculation town, whatever you want to call it. But
Sure.
But my thinking, I think they need to throw the kitchen sink at the damn show. They take it, like I said. I understand there can be some spiteful, kind of like, they there's a lot of good things there, and they
It
can
may be
just
too like early, but like they did restructure their management, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
some people are a little bit more gung ho than others. Just I won't say names,
Mhm.
but there might be changes coming, but I don't know if it's too early for those changes to have reflected now. They may be a next year thing. But if
Yeah.
you wanted to go bold,
Yeah.
there's certainly things you could do, and that might
are you
be
going GTA?
viable.
Are you talking?
I don't even know about GTA. I'm just thinking you could
Okay.
be bold in many ways. Thinking you could even do Family Plan, right? You could
Mhm.
do
Yeah.
a hardware reveal of some sort. You could like
Mhm.
also. There's an Elite 3 potentially coming for the controller with and the normal controller with haptic feedback, right? That was a whole thing that we got from the leaks. It's out there. Maybe it's time to actually officially make it happen and say, "Hey, we're announcing this new thing," right? There was a slim version of the Xbox console, right? That was going to be coming out. The cylinder,
The
right?
cylinder box.
Right?
Maybe.
Hey, they revealed it originally, right? At the Game Awards. It's viable that could, like, if you want to be bold, there are things they could do, right? To your point of could it be Grand Theft Auto marketing? Actually, I think Grand Theft Auto marketing will just be Keeley. That's just probably the easiest thing to do, right? Just let it be neutral, and Keeley takes it.
Maybe.
But they could do some marketing things with that. They could have all sorts of other potential options, right? There's plenty of things. The interesting one I think you were getting to next, right, was the will Baldur's Gate 3, we're getting the reveal, and why would they hold the reveal of what date unless it was, here's their thing, we're putting it day and date in Game Pass. So you're getting the gaudy edition, because it's already won gaudy in the Golden Joysticks Awards?
Joysticks, yeah.
So it already has a gaudy, right? So you can say, hey, it's the gaudy edition, right? Coming to
gaudy edition. I like that.
Winner of Game of the Year, Baldur's Gate 3, and the very next thing on the screen is
ILP, we fixed the third act just for you, Xbox guys. You're welcome.
Right? Yeah, and so it is viable that they, to overcome the challenges that they've kind of not just had internally but externally, publicly, about Xbox in that game. Maybe this is a good fit for them to just say, hey, let's get together and put this in Game Pass. Now, if they do it on Game Pass PC and console, that's kind of a big deal, because that is a PC-centric game, and that could be an interesting thing for them, right? So we'll see if they do that or not. But that is kind of an interesting one. So, like, to that specific point, I think it is viable. I would not say it's like a 0, but like it's viable. I don't know if it's like a 80% chance.
Right.
But I'd give it a good 60% chance that they would do it, right? It's just the marketing of it while it's being nominated, and it's probably going to win a whole bunch of stupid awards. I don't like that game, but it's up there for like the most awards, right? It's like, it's ridiculous. It's got like 8 nominations or something ridiculous. So
yeah,
if you're going to do something, you want a big splash. Hey, this game that everybody's saying is so great, coming to Game Pass when it comes to our platform.
Can you imagine though? Like almost like a blessing in disguise that it was delayed on the Xbox.
Well, it certainly was a blessing for them to take
the punch in the face and then use that as marketing while everyone's cheering, because everyone's going to be cheering on BG3, letting it win everything, and then we just get it for not free, but for your subscription price, which is a huge win in my opinion.
And if they could pull the PC version, man.
That would be
spike some subscriptions on PC. That'd be awesome.
Absolutely. Which is where they're getting the most amount of growth, anyways.
Yeah, and that also, by the way, brings it to, and I think it's already there, right? But you have to buy the game on GeForce, or what's the one that was in Europe? Boosteroid? Yeah, something like that. Whatever it was, right? So it's going to bring it to those platforms too, right? So, which, hey, what the heck, right?
That's a good point. Yeah. Ryu Art with the $2 super chat says next new COD 2024 be called Xbox tax for ponies and IGNs. Yeah.
It's tax season.
It is tax season. Not everyone agrees about that, but we'll get
there
onto that. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Hargeet, a little bit on the Baldur's Gate 3. I kind of feel like a 60. I'm not quite like, I feel like it makes a lot of sense to do it. But an Xbox doesn't always do what I think they should do. But I think this would be a great opportunity. This would be a great like in your face type of thing, like just to stick.
That's what I mean by bold, right?
Kinda.
Like just let's just
that
go.
Would be a huge move. And I love Dave's. Like we always kind of forget like about the family plan too. Like when is it going to drop? And I do think it is going to happen. But I also agree with Dave. I think the price point may have changed. I think it's probably going to be $30 a month now. But I do think it would be very bad. It'd be very bad press for them to moonwalk on that, pull Michael Jackson, go, nah, just kidding. Like it's. Yeah, we ran the numbers. It's not coming out after they, did the trials in several countries.
It would be no different than VR.
Just saying. Look, Pixel. You're not. You're right.
Before and just
plenty of things have not seen the light of day. You're not wrong. Yeah. But like with Xbox tax, they'll get smoke up and down. If that thing doesn't see the light of day, there will be stories about it left and right. But
it'll be the let's new move on. Down.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to point out we got over 100 people here, about 110 at least. That's what the thing's showing me. So thank you guys for coming out. Please make sure to hit the like button if you are new here. I don't care if you're a pony or not. We talk about all games. Hit that subscribe button, please, and help us get to 200 likes if you're watching this right now. It has definitely been helping us. We're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers. We're almost there. We're just past 1,900. So thank you guys for that. We super appreciate that. But let's move on to the next subject, which is the PlayStation lawsuit. So lawsuit over PlayStation store prices that could cost Sony $7.9 billion, which was allowed to move forward. The London Tribunal is allowing the lawsuit that could cost Sony up to almost $8 billion to move forward, according to a Reuters reports. Lawsuit, which was filed last year, alleges that Sony is abusing its position as the main seller of digital games on the PlayStation Store by charging a 30% commission to developers and publishers. As a result, the lawsuit claims PlayStation is overcharging customers for digital games and DLC. Let's get into this a little bit, guys. I'll start with you, Pixel. What do you make of this? Obviously, like the other stores are doing the 30%, but what's your take on this? This scenario of them getting sued, and why is it different? Why is it different than
I think
that Xbox and Nintendo versus Sony?
Well, I think what's different is you can buy the codes from other companies, right? So Nintendo and Xbox allow you to buy those game codes anywhere, right? So they've kind of I don't want to call it an Apple move, but it's kind of you're monopolizing,
very much like that. I think
you're creating a walled garden for your content, right? And it means that they can pretty much control the price of that content, right? So even a year later or whatever, if something should technically have gone down in price, they can say no and just keep it where it's at. They don't have to provide any value to customers this way. So I don't think that in terms of the lawsuit probably isn't as important as regulators picking it up. They can work their way out of a lawsuit, right? I mean, it's a substantial amount of money, but if it's a class action lawsuit, they're never going to pay that kind of money anyway. Not really. So I mean, they can probably work their way. They can probably work their way out of that. But if I think when Europe picked it up, European regulators have picked it up. Mm-hmm. If American regulators pick it up, if you start getting the regulators involved in saying that there's something wrong with the way you guys are doing business, then you may have real problems on your hands. So I think I would be on their end. I probably would be more concerned about that than anything else, because there are no other console makers that have a store that does this. It's probably not a case that they can win, right? So
Yeah,
I would have expected, if it's just the law, in the lawsuit, that you settle it, right? You just try to get rid of it as fast as possible. But if you get the regulators involved, especially in Europe, they like to make mess, right? So you see what they've done. I think they made Apple open their store up recently, right? So you may have a situation where Sony is forced to allow those codes every place else, which probably impacts their business model a bit, right? They kind of rely on being able to charge that extra surcharge to developers, as part of their model. So, there's long-term financial ramifications involved. In terms of it killing Sony outright, I mean, come on, like this, they're a big company.
I love that. I know.
They're a big company. They may carry a lot of debt, but they can afford to get more debt, right? It's not like they're gonna just disappear because of a $7 billion hit. So I'm not gonna, say like, oh, Sony's gonna be dead in 2027, like some of you goobers say about Xbox.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, people, the $2.7 trillion company is gonna go away.
Yeah.
But they're a big time multi-billion corporation that's been around for a long time. They've had their share of lawsuits. I mean, that's you don't get this frisky with the way you do business unless you've been frisky before. It is what it is, right? So I do think at some point that they're going to be forced to change their model, and it probably won't happen until next gen, right? But they may have some legal battles ahead. It is what it is.
Yeah, that's
and
Sapo's
if that class action comes to the U.S., guess what? I'm getting me a little bit of that money too. So
get yours, gonna get mine for sure.
All should, right? Because it's only
you'll get your 30 cents.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my 30 cents.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Right. So, but
Sapo was saying like it's not about the 30%, it's about the digital storage, which I agree with. I think that's a much bigger problem because if everyone else is doing the exact same thing, it kind of dies on deaf ears, just like the Apple one with Epic.
But it's the combination of the two, right? It's not 30%. Right. It's that you are the only way to buy these codes. You can only get it from one source, which is it's just not allowed in most scenarios, right? Microsoft can't just lock out Steam from selling stuff on their platform, right? It wouldn't happen. So, but no big deal to me. I mean, it is what it is. It's just more comical than anything else. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Hargeet, what about you, man? What you got anything to add to this whole lawsuit thing? And does anyone think that Sony could actually lose this? Because I don't think they're gonna lose this, to be honest with you. But what's your take on this?
So when this came up, I originally said there is merit to this. You can't just summarily dismiss it. It does have some merit. Now, look, this is based on a decision they made, right? In 2019, they decided to do this. Right, they used to have their you could buy digital codes from other retailers for PlayStation games. They decided to pull it in 2019. I think this preceded the switch over to Jim Ryan, but maybe it was in the works or whatever. But so I don't think it's him. But I think this is just something they were planning to do. They did it, and there's a potential risk to them of saying, well, hey, if you do that, you're taking out anybody who can compete openly, right? Yeah. No, for those who don't get this, this is like you go to CD Keys or you go to Eneva or you go to G2A or whoever, right? If you wanted to buy, like, you can still find some PlayStation codes. Generally, those are bundle codes. Like, you bought a PlayStation with a bundled code and you already have the game. So you're like, what am I going to do with this? I'll just sell it on the open market here and I'll give it to you, right? So, but those are openly available for the other platforms. So if you're on Steam, you're on Xbox, you can just buy those codes and sell them yourself. So you can resell. And you would take a store cut, and you can play with that. In the US, we usually have standard pricing, so it's almost always uniform. And so your company that you're working with could say, no, we want you to always sell it at this. And you might see that in a lot of products, right? The price is almost always the same. That's because that company has said, no, you can't sell below what we want as a threshold.
Right.
So this is what you're going to do. And in the US, you're allowed to do that. In Europe, you're not. In Europe, it's open, right? So if you allow them to resell it, you will give it to them at your cost, whatever you want, and then it's up to them. They could give it away for whatever at that cost. They could add 2 cents to it, to whatever it is, right? It's up to them to attract customers to their store. It's up to them, right?
Right.
So they can charge whatever they want. That makes it very open, and so that's why you get price fluctuations. It's you get some good deals that way. when you look at these online retailers that are usually in Europe that can give you those kind of deals. And that is what's going away from the PlayStation. So they took that step to say, no, we're not going to do that anymore. And that's what the lawsuit's about is, hey, you've taken away my ability. I used to be able to get your games, $10, $15 off because that retailer would take the hit and sell it to me instead of getting the, out of $70, it would get like 25 or whatever it is, right? It's like, what is it, 42, 30, 38, something like that, whatever it is, comes out to, or 28. Yeah. They'll just take $3, right? Instead of that. So I get $25 off. I'm getting a brand new game. You see this for Steam all the time. Heck, you can see it for Xbox games all the time. You'll get a good 10, 15, $20 off. Brand new game if you go to those CD keys and stuff like that, right? It's up to you to look for those deals, right? But that's gone, right? So now they're like, well, hey, that doesn't seem right. So why are you doing this? We're going to go after you, right? So the EU market, they look for those kind of things to say, hey, we want open competition, right? So that people get those price variations, and then that way people can get better deals. And so since Sony decided to do this, they kind of opened themselves up to this, right? So that's kind of the genesis of this lawsuit, right? So I'm like, you can't just dismiss it. It's got validity.
Correct.
It was a decision made by you that causes price issues, right? They're price fixing in a way by saying we're the only digital store, so you will buy from us or go away. And that's just not what EU wants, right? So since you had it the other way, now why are you taking that away, right? So it'd be one thing if the entire industry did that. They didn't, right? You still get the Steam codes. You still get Xbox codes. I believe you can pretty much get Nintendo codes that way too. So I don't like, it's just them, right? So they decided to do this. So there is some potential. Now, look, the punitive part of this, as far as if they lose the case, yes, it would be something like 7.9 billion, but it wouldn't be something like, here's 7.9 billion in cash. That's not what would happen. There would be some portion they might have to rebate back. And then there would be penalties of like, hey, in the future, you would have to take a hit of X amount or something like that. That's how they're not going to bankrupt PlayStation. That's not, because there'd be no point to that. That would kill the whole thing, right? You want the competitor in the market. You're not going to do that, but there would be some way that they would make it work, right? Now, it's way better for Sony to go to the bargaining table at this point to say, what the heck can we do to get rid of this, right? Because it's going to be cheaper for them in the long run to just get rid of it, because there is a non-zero chance that they, don't win this. It's just the way it is, right? So like they could easily, this could flip either way, right? And just think of the craziness we had with ABK, right? And now you've put a nice big spotlight on yourself, right? That, oh my gosh, you're the big behemoth, right? And so when we went through all these gyrations of, oh, we're going to die if Call of Duty doesn't come to our platform, we find out, the numbers don't even work for Microsoft to even keep it off your platform because you're so goddamn big, right? So they're like kind of stuck buying it and still putting it on your platform. So you're telling me that if you do this kind of thing in market practice, that's not going to hurt the consumer? Obviously it is, right? There's no way around that. They're too big, right? So it's a pretty good chance that the person here would win and win the 7.9 billion. You're better off bargaining, right? But the bigger problem isn't this. It's Romania has already decided to go into this, right? They're already doing the same investigation. And if Romania is a member state of the EU, they're welcome to do their own thing, have their own, rules, right? And say, hey, no, we think you violated things. Here's what you're going to have to do. But they can easily send that up to the EU and say, well, hey, we as a member state have done this. We find that there's a flaw. Maybe all of EU has this as well. Here you go. Right. Right. And hand it off to the EC. Right. And if they do that, then you've got a big problem.
And the dominoes.
You might be able to ignore Romania. You won't ignore all of Europe.
Right. That's a good,
which is one of their biggest territories. That's not going to happen. Right. So, and then the CMA is going to get like, hey, wait a minute. There's a lawsuit from private side. Well, why aren't we looking at it? So, and they just did. Like, there's merit to this. If there's merit to this, then you should be on it too. So,
exactly.
So anyway, that could be something coming down the road, right? I don't know if you heard the latest on this potential inventory issue, I guess, that they're having. I don't know if you guys got that new thing where some investors putting out there that Sony has some inventory issues, and I don't know how valid that is, but
yeah, that's why I didn't have it in the show notes tonight, just because
it's kind of an odd thing. It's like, oh my goodness, all these little negatives that keep happening.
Yeah, keep adding up.
Keep getting hit after hit. Jeez Louise.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Hargeet, too, on your point about the lawsuit, that it is pretty credible, that it actually does have a lot of merit, and there is always the possibility that Sony can settle some kind of and make some kind of flash pay. So you may see like a check here, coming to your house for like $20 or $10, just to settle the deal. But everybody that's been on the network ever would get something like that. So those things have happened before. So that is a possibility, just to get this behind them.
Yeah,
if they can afford it.
If they
sorry.
Who knows?
Let's read the super chat real fast.
Spartan 661 with the $20 super chat says the four horsemen have arrived in the game industry: the war and the court systems, the pestilence of how PlayStation is unable to adapt to the inevitable, the famine of not having games. PlayStation are in death's grasp. Have at you. That's a great super chat.
Have at you.
Really,
this is a funny thing I was saying years ago.
Yeah.
In a world where PlayStation has no games.
Exactly.
That's so.
What does a man do when he wins the console war and then loses the revenue war? Next up on Dragon Ball P.
Dragon Ball P. Oh God, Dave, you got anything to add to this whole lawsuit thing? I'm just curious.
Sue them all.
If you guys,
what? No, I mean, what? Here come the judge. Let's see. I sent you this little this AI picture. There we go. What do you think? Is that like the judge?
I like it.
Oh, and the little pony.
You're done, pony. You're done.
Nice.
Game over.
Exactly.
Objection.
Don't you love AI?
I love how the gavel is like the controller. Like,
yeah,
it's smashing on it. Yep.
Thanks, AI.
Goodness, I couldn't help but show that. Sorry, guys. So it's one of those things where it's like Hargeet said, if it has merit, then it should follow through. I agree. There are people that are, this is what's so funny. The Xbox lawsuit with the players that are egged on by, that has no merit. And the thing is already settled and it's done and behind them and moved on.
Still going. Imagine that.
Exactly. But it's a waste of time. And that's why it keeps getting shot down and keeps getting sent back down and all that kind of stuff, because it's never going to go anywhere.
Because it's stupid. Yeah, silly.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's to me that's kind of thing. There's a big difference between these two lawsuits. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, one has merit and no one's just bullshit fluff.
Exactly. Welcome out to the 124 people. Appreciate that so much. Retro, what do you think? Do you think it's time to...
I mean, I gotta be honest with you. After watching what I thought Epic had a case and they lost, I think it's like Hargeet's point. I definitely think there's merit here. Like, clearly it's more about like the future and them having a stranglehold over pricing, and that's wrong. It's monopolistic essentially. So on that, in that regard, I think it should be looked at, but I just have a bad feeling they're just going to settle. They're going to settle out, as most of these things usually do. But the good thing is maybe it will open up other digital stores. That's probably what I think maximum will happen to Sony, is they'll probably pay, everyone will get, like you said, a little shitty check, because I've gotten them before from credit card companies and all kinds of different companies. Like, we've seen that sort of stuff. Yay. I think that'll probably happen, and maybe more digital stores will come out of it. And it's a good thing, right? We want competition, and Sony, being arrogant that they are, thinks their shit doesn't stink and they get away with this stuff. Well, 2023 going into 2024, and that stuff doesn't fly anymore, man. So especially in the EU. So I won't be surprised if they lose, but I won't be surprised if they win either, because, not everything tracks. Not everything always goes the way we think it should. You know what I mean? So,
there was a lot of fanboys thinking the ABK deal wasn't going to work either. But
that's true. That is true. That's absolutely true, and it worked out.
Ouch.
For us.
What?
Anyways, the next subject is, and I'm not trying to. Well, I think this
Yes,
thing's
you
fucking
are.
stupid, but I'm gonna. No, I'm not trying to bash on Sony, but I'm about to.
Yes, you are.
The PlayStation Portal, and the thing is like, I know you. I think you bought this, Dave. So
I have one. Yes.
No, yeah, you got one. So this isn't against you anything, but
What? That's
the
fine.
angle I'm taking that this is the
Bring it.
PlayStation Portal sales will be tracked as console sales.
That's
What
stupid.
the actual F? It might be a strange considering PlayStation Portal is almost certainly a PlayStation 5 accessory because it is. But according to Matt Piscatella, it's now, which is now a deleted tweet, by the way, from so Matt works for Circana. It's going to be tracked as a fucking sale. This feels kind of like borderline market manipulation, where you're just
Shady?
like, we
How
were
is that
crushing,
borderline?
we're
It is
crushing. Yeah,
shady.
okay. Speak on it, Pixel. What do you think about this being counted? These being counted as console sales?
It's absolutely crazy. It doesn't.
It's crazy, right?
It doesn't meet the definition of a console, right? I mean, for something to be a console, you need to actually be able to play things on it by itself, right?
Yep.
As its own defined
Solo,
unit.
right?
It cannot be a dumb screen or terminal to another location, right? It cannot be that. This is just a peripheral. So what it does for me though is it makes me question, how is Sony counting its console numbers? Because if you're going to count this as a console, are you counting PS5 sitting in warehouses as sold? Because like,
that's
seriously,
what that whole financial thing is. That report is they made a lot more than they sold. That's what that's saying. And we're not talking a small number. We're talking a very large number.
Significant, yeah. So and then you start, see, I don't know, but it kind of opens them up to the question, right? And then you start looking at like that comment that was made about what they sold and what they made, and then you start looking at like how their actual sales, how their actual engagement on their device has tracked this generation compared to last, and why does it seem like it's not tracking as high this time? If you sold so many consoles, you would think that you would have that kind of engagement on your console, right? Because you sold so many units. So it kind of opens up a lot of questions about the brand and about if they're doing fuzzy math, right? In order to portray dominance in the market, which is very strange, for a company that's done so well, right? But yeah, well, all I see there is
money coming towards Microsoft.
Going to Microsoft. Yeah, that's what I see there. A lot of money being sent to Microsoft. But yeah, so it's just really weird. And it's like, why, right? You're the market leader, quote unquote. You're doing the damn thing. Your console's on fire. Everything's selling well. Why do you have to count this as a console sale? Does that tells me that you're not meeting projections on your console sales, right? And I think there was it last year or maybe it was last year, right? But they said the projections they had projected a higher number and they didn't hit that number, but they still were confident that they would get that number. So this is how you're going to get that number. It's absolutely crazy, and then they have a built-in group of lemmings who will buy this, right? Just say it. I may get one eventually, right? But I don't need it because it's just, But I'm gonna try to get it gifted to me. But yeah, it's just strange math, right? So we'll see how this opens them up to additional questioning if they actually go through with this and start counting this as sales. Because if this is the new normal and this is how we're playing the game, then Microsoft needs to start counting everything as a sale, right? Every Steam Deck sold, every ROG Ally sold, every PC sold. Those are Xbox sales, right? Because Xbox is available on all those platforms. So it's just I mean, that's how dumb it sounds. Y'all laughing, right? Because it sounds stupid.
But that's
right?
the same thing, though, Pixel. I agree with you. I like it.
Right? This is literally all this is a controller with a screen. And that's what it is. It's peripheral for your device. So what now, right? Is the VR console sell also? Like, come on, man.
Right. That's what I was see, that's what I was wondering as well. Yeah. I mean, to explain this a little bit further, and why like this isn't just a Circana thing. Apparently, PlayStation told Circana and guys like Matt to do this. This was directed from PlayStation to count these. This isn't something that Circana on their own decided. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't. Why? Yeah, Circana is just like.
No, thanks. I'm good.
Nope. We're not doing that because it doesn't make any fucking sense.
Involved your fraud,
right? But if they're getting numbers from them, that might be a bit of a headache for them, right?
Well, that's the thing, right? Then you have to figure that out, Hargeet, right?
But otherwise, you might say, "Oh, they have console sales asterisk." Actually, it's this.
Maybe. Yeah.
Look, who does it help? I like. Right. I'm trying to. So
it helps them bring up. Look, it helps Sony because it's just like, oh, we're crushing Xbox even more. And I even question how many portals exist, right? Because look, the supply demand. You say if there's not a lot of them out there, then we could say they're selling like hotcakes. We're sold out. But if you made 10 of them, no shit. Like who, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like it's a everyone likes the winner, right? So,
but the only case that's a useful thing is if you're trying to sell PlayStation, like the whole business, right? Because otherwise, why does it matter?
Whoa!
Right? Ultimately, there's no point in you trying to inflate your sale numbers, right?
Well, the only thing I can think of
because it creates more sales,
Hargeet. Because
but who cares? Like the go ahead, sorry.
I know. I was just gonna say they don't have anything else good to talk about.
That may be fair. And no, really, that may be fair. However,
that's what they're trying to
ultimately those things are things you go to a developer with, right? You go to a publisher and say, hey, we have X number of consoles out in the market that are a potential target for your game. This is why we would like you to come here and make that game happen, right? That's usually what you would do with it. But if you're going to inflate you think those developers don't know? You think they're dumb? They don't know that a PS whatever portal is not an actual Of course they know. Because they're making the freaking game. They know exactly what's happening.
They know the numbers. So,
they know. So what would be the point? You're not going to walk up to them and they're not going to laugh in your face and say, yeah, but you sold like 2 million of these. Those don't count. I'm not taking that number. What do you mean? So the only reason you would do this is as an investment. You would say, we sold this many consoles because you can lump in whatever you want as part of an investment, right? And say, as a company, this is what we sold for hardware. Okay. But then does that mean you're trying to spruce yourself up to be bought? Like why would they do this?
Well, for me, my opinion is because it creates FOMO and everyone's like, wow, everyone's buying this. Maybe should I get one too? I think when you bullshit your sales numbers, it creates more sales. Like when you bullshit the demand for a device that might not even have high demand because you didn't make that many of them.
That is a potential VR, thing. For instance. It's a potential thing.
You know, I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. Outside of that, I have no clue, Hargeet, to be honest with you.
And so the underlying presumption is that people aren't actively just going out to buy PlayStations, that they've kind of hit their peak.
Teetering.
Right?
I think so.
I don't know.
Is that what's happening?
Well,
it would be weird because you kind of need one to make this thing work. So.
Right. I mean, they did say that the point of the unit was to increase engagement on their platform, which is just asinine.
Which means that maybe they are kind of petering. Maybe that is
like that.
I mean, I would think it would be petering
your platform. Right? Like, what's going on, right? It's just such a strange reason to do something like this, right? In their position, right? So it's like, and to your point, you need one. It's a 1-per-1 kind of scenario, right?
Right.
You need a PlayStation 5 already to use this device, right? So, which sort of gets me at the questioning of the scoring for this device, where, it's a $200 device. No, it's a 200 plus 450 to 500 device.
Yeah,
exactly.
You can't have one without the other, right? It's love and marriage.
The same argument we had with the VR, and people are like, no, Pixel, you wrong.
No.
Then
go ahead and buy it without a PlayStation 5, and then let's talk about it, right? Like, I mean,
good luck
with that, right? So, so I don't even understand how it's supposed to increase engagement on your platform. I just don't understand its real use case.
Well,
right?
you're on the pooper.
Yeah, other than zealots,
obviously,
who just like
that's a shitty comment.
And I get it, right? Because I love handhelds. I have a bunch of them, right? I like to use them to stream content and stuff like that. But when I'm using that handheld, I'm not increasing my activity on the system I'm using. I was going to use that system anyway. It's not creating a second user on the system. It's the same user just using the system remotely. So strange. Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Go ahead and read this super chat real quick.
Sure. Ryu Art with the $2 super chat says Sony counting. I love this. Sony counting PS5 stand as a console sales number. Yeah, maybe Clippy behind Hargeet. Maybe they're gonna count that too.
What am I gonna do?
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. It was a little side story. I was just curious. Go ahead, Hargeet.
Go ahead, Hargeet.
So to your point, maybe that is it. They're just trying to like create a demand structure. I'm trying to understand the mindset of somebody who
the
says,
only thing I can think of.
What would be the point, right? But okay, let's say they do that. No respectable outlet that's giving you numbers isn't going to subtract that from it, right? They're going to do that because they're going to try to tell you what the actual console sales are.
In
right?
in
what would be the point of
Sony's
doing it
mindset, maybe they're trying to get into the mindset of the consumer, thinking that wow, if they've got the best system that's selling the most consoles. Period. Look at the numbers. They're number one sales. Number one sales. Right, but they want to keep that because all those other things that are happening with Microsoft, these numbers are going to start changing, guys.
Yeah.
They really are.
They're trying to sword and shield what's the future, Hargeet. I think they're afraid.
With Hargeet.
To me, this spells we're scared. Right. And that's the only reason you would do that is because you want to try to stomp Xbox as much as you can and get as much good press as possible because times are a changing. Things are not going to look so great for you next year when Xbox has got a ridiculous amount of first party and third party into Game Pass. But
because to me, at least it did the opposite. Right. We're talking about this.
Yeah.
That's not what they wanted.
True.
They just want to put out a number. They want the NPD number. They want the, VG Trust, whatever. They want the number out there. Hey, we sold 60 million consoles. They don't want the, by the way, caveat, 4 of those were the Portal. So it's really,
you're right.
So we're talking about it, which means that's not what happened. Right.
But the casual gamer doesn't watch our show or anybody else. Anyway. But the casual gamer may walk into Best Buy and say to the sales guy, the number one selling video game console is the PlayStation 5. Well, maybe I should get little Timmy that. But I'm just saying that they want to try and maintain that because they may be starting to lose that.
But so your assumption is that somehow Xbox will go beyond what the PS5 is. No, I don't think that's going to happen, but that'd be an interesting topic.
Well, as far as console sales, maybe not.
Yeah,
but as far as in the ecosystem, I think that's
as far as revenue, that's already done.
Revenue.
Exactly.
It's already kind of happened. They already projected that.
We are either a 1A, 1B situation, or somebody's in number 2 now and they don't know it yet.
Yeah.
Number three, because number 3,
right?
Yeah,
everybody else.
Number 3. Yeah. So.
Hey, Hargeet. Hargeet, can you read this super chat?
I hate that Cliffy is looking so sad for PS5. That literally is why it's supposed to be that way. Because he's like, I'm taking all this weight for you. That wasn't what I wanted.
It's like, I can't lift this thing.
Oh, that's so messy. Jesus.
I love it.
Thank you,
Highlander 001, member for 2
member.
months. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, Highlander. Great guy in the community, 100%. Yeah. I thought it was interesting. I'm not trying to look. A lot of times I hate myself defending Sony, but sometimes I do. I'm not defending him on this one. I don't get it. I get Dave's use case scenario for the Portal when your significant other is taking over the TV. Then this device makes sense for me. But for the majority of folks, I'm just like, how many people are buying this because the other person is taking over the TV? So it selling out like hotcakes. I don't know, man. It's got my spidey senses going.
They're cheap enough TVs, especially right now. You could go buy something for a couple $100.
Well, right. But for me, my house, I have a 75-inch in the living room with my console on it. I only have one PlayStation 5. I do not want to buy another one, and I don't want to unhook it and move it to another room. So for me, if I want to sit on the couch and still have a conversation with my wife while she's watching God knows what. Anyway, so that's not really bad.
Do you have one of these newfangled things called a smartphone? Do you have one of those?
Yeah. But for me,
oddly enough, you can play this on your smartphone. You can even buy these devices. It's an 8-inch screen and it's already got the DualSense. I like it.
Yeah.
No, and that's all fine.
And
but if you want to buy a Portal,
I'm just kidding. Yeah,
right. If you're gonna get the Portal,
Yeah.
The equivalent is I have a smartphone. I just get like one of those nice little cradles that go around it. Give me
This is one of those
controllers.
kind of buys where it's like there's a certain audience that will just buy shit, right? I mean, we're
we
all
said,
in that
they'll buy bricks.
No, but I'm not saying like that. Like we're in that audience, right? Like I got a Steam Deck and a ROG, and I don't need a Steam Deck and a ROG, but I got one.
Same here, buddy. Got them
Why
both.
not, right? And if I can get my hands on something like this, I mean, if somebody would gift it to me, I'll take it. It's just one of those things, right? So like,
I feel like Pixel said that twice. I think he's dropping hints up in here. Hey, you know,
Christmas list for
if you're with it, Christmas is coming.
Hey, Pixel, if you don't mind, go ahead and drop your Amazon wish list in the chat there. Same with you. Same with you, Hargeet.
Hey, you never know.
Amazon wish registry, right? Like they have that like registry that you can go
like a birthday registry.
Buy this for so-and-so.
If I'm going to the back porch, or if I'm going into the bedroom to watch TV or whatever, or I could just sit and play the game without having to worry about moving the console. So yeah, I get it. Trust me. There's no practicality, not really.
Right.
But for me, it works.
No, but it is practical for you though, Dave. Like the use case scenario though, like it is what makes me go scratches in my head, because that's the only one I could think of. Yeah, that's the only why. You know what I mean? Like otherwise, why wouldn't you just sit there?
And the definition
if you didn't have the significant
of a console is something that can actually play games on its own. And this cannot play anything on its own, so it is not a console, no matter how Sony tries to spin it.
I just hope that the people who are buying this are people like us who understand that, because if not,
it might be a lot of disappointed people.
A hell of a lot of returns.
Just wait,
Sony don't do returns.
I was gonna say Best Buy be like, you can't return this. All thing you can do is spend another $500 on a PlayStation 5. What? Or there's eBay where they're going for $50 a piece now. What? There you go.
Are they really?
Super chats. A couple super chats.
I don't know. Spartan661 with the $2 super chat says Sony builds their games on PC and port it to PS4 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, true. Absolutely. Ryu Art with the $2 super chat says scalpers selling those PS portals for $350 to $400. Yeah.
Ooh,
I think
maybe
I'm wondering if they're gonna. Yeah, I think they might eat some of that. I think this might be a mistake on their part, but those scalpers will always do that stuff. They do it with every new card and all that shit. All right, let's get on to the spicy stuff. I didn't have this actually on my talk about list, but Dave, he's fucking smiling over there. He knows what he did.
No,
Dave put it on the. On our thumbnail, so I had to talk. We got to talk about it. That Xbox tax. So this has got a lot of people pissed off for whatever reason. A lot of people arguing about what is, first of all, what is the Xbox tax? Are we all crazy? Does this thing exist? Are we just all tinfoil hat conspiracy crazy mofos? Maybe. But my question to you guys is like, what the hell is the Xbox tax? Because I feel like we need like some sort of defining definition, because I'm seeing some people like I put out a tweet not too long ago talking about Starfield and how it got snubbed, in my opinion, Xbox tax, and people lost their fucking minds. I think there's an Xbox tax. To me, it means bias. It means we are treated differently than PlayStation because PlayStation is the juggernaut. I don't know how other people see this. I think maybe too many of them see it as just Metacritic scores. That is not how I see it personally. But what do you guys think? I'll start with you, Pixel. Like, what is the Xbox tax to you, at least?
Yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, it's either implicit bias or just your explicit biases, right? And it's having your brand built on posting about Xbox for the last decade, right? It's scoring things a little differently because Xbox requires more scrutiny or whatever nonsense they come up with, right? It's just a constant stream of behaviors and mistakes by media, right? It feels like it's only directed at one group, right? It's the thing is that it's like, I feel like it's a hiring thing, right? If all I do is play PlayStation or Nintendo, and I hire people that play PlayStation or Nintendo, I expect them to have attitudes that are more positive towards those brands because those are the brands they use. But when I look at like some of these big publications and they have shows and stuff like that, and you can't field 4 people who actually main a console, right? That tells me you got a problem, right?
Yeah.
And your opinions don't carry the kind of weight they should, for me, because you can't even field 4 people in your company that play this console as their primary console, right? So it's like, and it's they can say, oh, it's not purpose, not this, or people will say, oh, it's they do it for engagement, right? Or whatever it is, right?
Right.
But it's just like any kind of hiring practice, right? You cannot say that people don't bring their personal feelings into their workplace, right? You can't say that.
Nah,
you can't
it's
say
impossible.
that people are totally even kill when they do things. And then you can't have a scenario where you have like all this data showing all these instances of poor behavior in the media, right? Or you got major media personalities saying, I don't need to be fair, right? I'm allowed to be biased, like shit like that, right? Like which I've seen, right? So it's basically just like having a bias and then acting on that bias within your work, right? And it's like when content comes out and it's being scored differently from other content for reasons that aren't applied to other content, it's questionable, right? But Bethesda makes a game and you bitch about it being a Bethesda game. It's a Bethesda game. Mario comes out and it's still Mario, right? Still, its core mechanics is still a Mario game, right? It hasn't changed, and it's still basically what it is with improvements. So why are we saying, oh well, that's just an eye? I mean, yeah, it's familiar, but hey, it's Mario. But then you say for the first time ever, this is Bethesda. What the hell is this? The same thing you've been loving for the last 20 years. The same way you've been loving Mario for the last 40 years, right? So it's the not applying the same scale for everything. It's the Spider-Man had no bugs, but yet it still has all these bugs, right? It's the encumbrance is a problem. Motherfucker, it's an RPG. Encumbrance is a thing. It's part of the
it's part of the game.
Part of the genre, right?
Right.
And to me, that was like one of the most shocking things I had ever heard. That you
just to add to that, Pixel, just this very funny part.
Go ahead.
Doesn't Baldur's Gate 3 have encumbrance?
Yes, sir.
Didn't that game get like a 96 or something?
Sure.
Where were the dings for that? I kind of missed that part.
I don't recall.
It wasn't there? Oh, okay.
No, it was, and I quote, it was a perfect RPG, perfectly executed, and apparently nobody got to Act 3. I mean, it's so.
I'm laughing at Paris. Paris said he disappears into the mist as soon as I mentioned the Xbox tags. I think Paris, like a ghost, is gone.
He does the Homer. It slides back into the thing.
It's like,
we love you, Paris. Just remember that.
Yeah, it's like, it's all good, right? You don't have to agree with it, right? But the problem is that it's like any bias in the workforce, right? You can not agree all you fucking want. It's still there though, right?
Right.
And you know it's there, even if we want to pretend it's not. Everybody's equal opportunity employers. My ass.
Yeah.
Right.
That's bull.
I've been in development for like 30 years, and I've been the only black guy on my team for 30 years.
30 years.
No matter what team I've been on, right? So it's just one of those things, and it's like it's noticeable. So here's the thing that kills me. This is not a new conversation in this community.
No,
right?
Thank you, Pixel. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Talking about this, the first time that when Microsoft announced that Tomb Raider was going to be exclusive, and the media lost their goddamn minds.
Yep.
Yeah.
At the time, I wasn't aware of this concept of a console against another console. Not really, because I always buy all consoles. Unbeknownst to everybody else, I know y'all know I love me some Xbox, but guess what? I've been gaming since the 70s. So I know every console, and I own every console since the 90s. Every console just about. Because I like them all. I want to play. I'm not rich. I'm dumb. And I want to play video games. Right? And keep it 100. I love video games.
I don't know how to spend my money.
So,
I buy it all.
So, hey, shit, I got a Tesla in 2015, right? I got no fucking sense.
All right.
So it's so the concept that the media would say, oh, what is this? Why is this exclusive? When is it coming to my favorite platform? That was mind-blowing to me, Because in my adult mind, I always said, shit, the whole point of being an adult is buying all the consoles you can get. And whenever the game is going to, you buy the console the game is on. Da-da-da. That's it. That's it. They questioned it, and I was like, wow, they're really questioning it. Since then, I've been looking for it to happen the other direction, and I ain't seen it yet. So I'm just asking, can somebody find me the instance of a game that went to PlayStation exclusively and the media lost their damn minds and asked when it's coming to Xbox? Give me one instance. Because if you can't, then there's bias. And that's an Xbox tax. I'm sorry.
Why is this so hard for people to like wrap their heads around, dude?
That's
I don't
really
understand this.
the issue. Because if you're a gamer and you don't care and it's all agnostic, you shouldn't have cared if it wasn't coming to PlayStation. You should have had an Xbox. You was going to get it on the Xbox anyway because you were a gamer. But they didn't do that. Right? So things that to me, that's the starter when I started paying attention and saying, wow, this is interesting. Right?
Yeah.
And to Paris' point, right? It doesn't have to be toxic. I don't care if you agree with me.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of me. I don't care, as y'all know me on Twitter. I don't care. Right? But on the same token, it's like, look, we all have our different perspective. And depending on what camp you're more heavily weighted to, you may or may not pay attention to this stuff. Just like in a bad workplace, if it ain't your problem, it ain't your problem. So you ain't looking at it, right? You don't see the problem, right? That woman is being paid less. You don't see it. You're a guy. You getting paid your right amount. You don't care. Not your problem. I get it. We all do that because that's just human nature. But if they keep having evidence of things happening and somebody brings it up, if you don't agree and you can't prove it, maybe be quiet. Let them rock. Because if the conversation eventually will die down into the next instance, right? But when you make it into a thing, these guys are crazy. What the fuck is they talking about? When you start doing that, then you get people coming at you like this is what they're talking about, and you get that vitriol, right? Which is not always necessary. It's fun, but it's not necessary, right?
Not necessary.
So it's not necessary, right? So as y'all notice, when I come to these shows, I'm more even kill, right? My Twitter personality is more hot. Because I know the idiots I'm working with on there. So I give you the smoke you asked for, right? Yeah. But on these shows, it's not about smoke. We having a conversation, right? Yeah. And in this instance, it's like, look, there's just too many instances where y'all made a mistake. Or y'all forgot. Or, it matters here, but it don't matter there. So what people are looking for is, if you want to be treated with respect in the media, as a reporter or whatever, report things as they are, down the middle, which is hard. But until you can do that, you can't expect people to be like, nah, that's not a problem. Yeah. That's not a bias, right? If they can show you an instance of you doing the opposite, then pay attention. Maybe stop doing that. Like you tell your kids, that keeps happening when I get hurt. Stop doing it.
All right. Take your hand off the stove, stupid.
Right. Hey, stop doing that. So
I want to jump in here real quick to say one thing for sure. Pixel, BitG, and Hargeet, Chani, and everybody else that we ever have on our show. That is one of the reasons why we have this amazing content providers on here, is because we want you to be open, honest, and your real opinions, but nobody to be hateful, hurtful, or spiteful. That's one of my main rules, is that we don't talk politics and we don't go after somebody for whatever race, creed, religion, their viewpoints, their beliefs. Their beliefs are their beliefs. We're not here to change anybody's mind. We're here to have a discussion so that we can all learn from it. And sometimes just listening to other people's perspective can at least, you may not agree with them, but maybe you can at least better understand where they're coming from. Yeah. And if there's something that needs to be changed, maybe as a community, we can go out and try and change it. We want to read Paris's comment there. Plus,
I just wanted to bring up, because I agree with
and then
Paris.
We'll go to
the thing is I disagree with a lot of I disagree with Gaz. I disagree with Coat. I disagree with a lot of like prominent Xbox guys who are saying that they don't think this is a real thing. But to Paris's point, he says, my issue is how the discussion is handled by the community at large has become toxic and personal. And absolutely, like, this is why we need to be able to have discourse with respect. Respect that someone can absolutely be a 180 from your opinion but don't come at them, man. Don't make it personal. These are just opinions, and we're talking about video games, guys. We're talking about fucking video games. Like it's not that. It's not that. Yeah, it's supposed to be fun, and you can have your opinion, and you got to be able to like take it on the chin, and be like, I just don't agree with you. You know what I mean? Let's agree to disagree. That's one of my favorite things to say because that happens a lot. And I don't even agree with a lot of stuff that Pixel says on Twitter. But you know what? I keep having Pixel on the show because I like to be challenged. I like his opinion, and I respect him. You know what I mean? And he'll be invited back on if he says yes. So
RHETRI hates me, and he still does my show.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus, I don't even like Dave, and it worked. You know, but Spartan 661 with the $2 super chat says, "Why can't the PC version be better than the PlayStation version?" I don't know. I'm not sure quite what he's talking about.
I believe he's talking about Baldur's Gate, but it's
just a matter of...
But what does he mean? Why can't it? It is. Like,
right, but I think it's in their minds, in the PlayStation fanboys' minds.
Okay, like in your head. Okay, like, I see what he's saying.
All right, so I think I said this on the show before, right? Baldur's Gate 3 is a PC game, straight up. We've been playing it since 2010.
It is.
So it's 2020. So all the people who actually love Baldur's Gate were in the beta. And we owned it for 3 years already. So it's a PC game. You guys are getting the port. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
As best you can on your inferior hardware. Just saying.
It's gonna be my first one. I'm very excited to play this game. I hope it comes on Game Pass
because
I would love to
rich
save some money.
And deep, and it has some flaws. But if you like if you like dice rolls and luck and stats, no, I'm serious. You will die often and you'll die planning. But if you love strategy, you're gonna love this game.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot. Give it a shot. Why not? Silent Cypher with a $5 super chat says, he's saying this to you at Hargeet Chani. BG3 was a perfect game despite encumbrance because it was available on the reviewer's preferred console system. Drop the mic. What's up, Silent Cypher? There you go, brother. Good job on the read through the Halo 2 thing. I don't know if you guys saw this, but he was part of, yeah, Pixel. I saw your comment on there as well.
Yeah.
Great read from him, and our brother Umbra was on there as well representing. I didn't really know the other people, but I know those two guys, and great
they were all
job
great.
on the voice.
If you haven't seen it, folks, please
Very
go
cool
see
stuff.
it. It is, if you're a Halo fan, it is worth your ears. You give it 2 hours of your time. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Ryu Art with the $2 super chat says IGN hides the bias under it's their opinion. Yeah, I feel like that's like an easy out, right? I can see that. And I don't want to, like, when I say Xbox and I say this bias, I do not think everyone at IGN is biased. I don't think it's some conspiracy theory. I just know from 19 years of experience being in television, if it bleeds, it leads. So yeah, you're going to do those things that get you clicks because a lot of these guys that used to exist don't exist anymore, right? So they know they need to get that engagement. Sapo says Starfield. Well, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That one. No, you're good. You're good.
There we go. Bring it back up.
Starfield was dock points because the reviewer couldn't find the map. There you go.
The same map that they.
Which I mean, to be fair, they could have been better about the tutorials. And I don't know, like you can hold down the. I don't remember the start or select, but basically select. Right. If you hold it down, it brings up the map. Right. Normally, it brings up the menu. Right. But I don't know if they weren't good with that, unfortunately. Right. But either way, like we can get into the topic.
Well, let's get this last comment from Paris, and then we're going to go to Hargeet's opinion.
Yeah, sure. Paris says nothing anyone could say can make me not like something I enjoy. Absolutely. Yeah. Exactly.
Amen.
Like,
yeah, of course.
So
just before Hargeet jumps in, Hargeet, the map is in the game. It's a role playing game asking you to role play. Go ahead.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
No, literally, it is actually in the game. The kiosks show you where everything's at. It's in the game. But yeah.
But okay, so look, I've been saying this for a while that there's a media bias. I don't know about tax, however you want to, it's going to represent in some way. It's going to represent in some way.
Yeah.
But that's just normal human norms. We just do that, right? Everybody has a bias towards something.
That's right.
I like Coca-Cola versus Pepsi, right? Whatever. People have biases,
Coca's
right? And then
trash.
And exactly right, the opposite, right? And then you'll say this restaurant has this is gonna suck. Like, well, see, it tastes like crap. Just it's the way it is, right? Even if it doesn't even bother you, you're just gonna make it into something because subconsciously that's what
we do.
You have to go. Yeah. It's just the way it is, right? Think of sports teams. It's a very standard thing, right? It's just the way it is. You might say like LeBron is a pain in the neck piece of trash. Look, he did this wrong, or you can just recognize, like The guy's good. It just is what it is, right? But you might like nitpick every little thing, and that's the thing that usually happens. If your preference is like, hey, I like playing on this platform, every time you go touch the other platform, you're gonna nitpick every little thing. And the nitpick, by the way, is fair. It's fair game. The problem is when it comes to your preferred platform, you'll ignore those and say, well, that was just kind of an annoyance. I'm just going to keep going. This is still awesome. This is still awesome. This is still awesome. It's like, well, that does lead to a slight deviation from where it might have actually landed, right? So if you didn't have that bias, you didn't have all the nitpicks, something that was an 8 might be an 8.5, right? Something that was an 8.5 might become an 8. Right, this is what happens, right? And so that is what I found in what I would see from the media, right? It was tilting towards one side, and that was because of the dominance since the mid-90s of PlayStation, right? And then as you come into the 2000s, the people that were growing up playing on that platform, that's all they understand as gaming, right? And they're like, well, why is this entrant here trying to like mess up my thing? Like, no, PlayStation's the only, like, dude, like you want competition, but they don't see it that way. They see it as a hindrance. Right. And that in the back of their head, that's what happens. Right. In our age group, right, we know different. Why? Because we grew up on Atari being the king, getting totally destroyed by Nintendo, getting destroyed by Sony, et cetera, right? So we've seen this happen over and over. Right. So we know that we can't just say, oh, well, I got to stick to this and that's the end. It's like, no. I'm just going to play where there's games. Right. Because games are going to go here, and here. I'm like, I'm not going to not play the game. I'll go play the game. Like, whatever. Right. So we've grown past that. Most of the folks that grow up, playing on PlayStation in the 90s and into the 2000s, that's never been an issue for them, right? PlayStation's still been dominant. Even with the loss to the 360, where they still won that generation over the 360, right? They still were good enough that you could play everything there. So I don't think it really has ever hit them that this could be a potential where Xbox would be a platform they actually have to pay attention to. Right, because Nintendo first party is pretty specific on the kind of content they make. They're not going to give you first party anyways, very mature content. They do third party deals to do that. That's fair, but it's mostly been their games are very family friendly. So you can forego that if you're looking for mature games. Fair enough, right? So you can say PlayStation is my place to play, and Xbox is just a hindrance. And now that unfortunately that does translate into something. And when you have a whole bunch of media outlets that are named after PlayStation, you just have to assume, I think they're going to have people that like PlayStation. That's kind of the thing. Now, that does not mean they're going to be totally ridiculous and say, this game should be a 9, and some people did, but this is a 4. That did happen, right? With Hi-Fi, somebody said, no, I'm going to knock points because Xbox has no games. Like, well, okay, you're telling me that's
which
not
is something
biased?
that when Destin was looking for evidence, a lot of people brought that one up. I mean, that is biased? Clear as day. That is 100% biased. There's no arguing that one.
He thought it was a misreading, but no, it's clear. It was written. A misreading would be putting that other sentence somewhere else, but that sentence was like right near the score. Like I would like to score this higher, but Xbox had no games. So
it's like, what does that have to do with the game? Like, just rate the game. Just rate the game. But unfortunately, that's what happens, right? So you nitpick every little thing, and it's the same thing with everything the platform does, right? So, there are layoffs at Xbox. There's more layoffs at PlayStation. How many articles are written about PlayStation's layoffs versus Xbox's layoffs? Well, to be fair, Xbox is part of Microsoft, so Microsoft will get the business level articles too, saying Microsoft laid off 10,000 people. That's fair. Right. But
you get your Washington Post,
more engagement.
Negative
news for Xbox versus positive news for the other side. And it's like, well, dude, come on, play fair. This has been, by all measures, a terrible year for PlayStation. Does the media showcase that?
No.
And that's the problem.
You have no idea.
That's the problem.
It's been a rough year for
Thank you, Hargeet. That's my issue. I know this. I know how this works, guys. I got 19 years of experience of doing this. I know exactly how it works. They know, and everyone who thinks that when Xbox comes out with all these games and they're going to be a force to reckon with, that these articles are going to stop, you're wrong. You're right. Like I love like Boom saying stuff like this. He's wrong. Because if it bleeds, it leads, and that doesn't go away. That will never go away, right? So that form of trying to make money ain't going anywhere. So this is not going to stop. You know what I mean? I love this point that C Black Rider brought up. He says the bias goes beyond the score. We reviewed the game, gave it an 8.5, but also released 30 negative articles about it, a la Starfield.
Yeah,
and all the bugs.
Right, to the point
unbelievable
that
amounts
the game
of
scored lower than it did, right? Because you keep seeing the same thing, but if you look at it, it's like, no, this doesn't score very well, but you have no idea.
It's still a mid-80s open critic, right?
Yeah.
So it still scored pretty well, even though 3 major outlets gave it a 7,
which is wild, but okay. Okay,
but either way, right? So it's that it's not like, hey, it's one specific thing. It's just it keeps aggregating. There were several articles from IGN this year where they listed all the platforms for games that are coming, and mysteriously one platform was not there. The others are there. Nintendo is there for all these things. You're like, Nintendo is the one that gets the least amount of the AAA game, but even they're listed, but not one platform. Xbox. Just mysteriously, Xbox isn't there.
Yeah.
Like, okay, at some point you just have to think, okay, look, in the back of that person's head, they didn't even think to even consider that those games might even be on the platform. And second, your editor didn't even catch the fact that you didn't have that in there. Like,
even when the games were actually in Game Pass.
Even better, right? Like Lies of P, right? Not listed, and it's in game. Like, oh, come on. Like, at some point, you just have to call it out and say there's something there. Right. Again, I get it. I'm not saying this is something that's easy to get rid of, but there is a current bias that tends towards one side and not the other. It's more positive towards one side and negative towards the other. It happens. And it's human tendency. We tend to do this. We like to pile on people.
And there's more PlayStation guys, and that's going to happen. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't talk about it. Right, that's the problem I have. What drives me nuts is people are like, well, yeah, but that story's 5 years old. Well, yeah, but there's more PlayStation. I don't fucking care. That doesn't mean it's not happening. That doesn't mean that those things don't exist because there's more PlayStation players. I don't care.
Yep.
Like, that doesn't matter. It's still factual. The articles are still fucking there in black and white for you to read. Excuse my language, but like this, like some people just piss me off.
Anybody
like, well,
GameStop? Was it GameSpot? GameSpot's Black Friday header over their entire site over the weekend. Did you peep it? I posted it.
Nothing, right? Nothing.
No. They had everything. They had all they had links for Black Friday sales for Steam, PlayStation, Epic, Nintendo Switch, and then Xbox controllers.
Right, and controllers, right. when there's huge deals, some of the best deals in Europe too, going for the Series X right now.
And I thought maybe it's just the link. It's it's wording. It's the link. I clicked the link, and it literally went to controller site. I said, "What?" And then you Google Xbox deals, and they have deals on consoles, controllers, games, and everything else, like everybody else. But the PlayStation link had everything.
RHETRI.
That's not a mistake. Like, that's that's targeted. It's not a mistake.
Yeah.
There's no way that you get it for everybody else right, and then the one other console is like, nah, just give them the controller. They got more controllers than
There'll be 2 back to back.
Like, come on, man.
Abdo 114 brings up a good point, saying Starfield 86 Metacritic failure, Ghost of Tsushima 83 Metacritic, undeniable masterpiece.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, he also says,
like
RHETRI, when Xbox hate gonna increase in mass when they acquire a Japanese publisher on their turf. 100% Sega Square. Absolutely, Abdel. Without a doubt.
Well, that's why they gotta go big and go home. Like, I'm
gonna be here.
You don't want to join us.
If they buy Square,
join it first. Yeah.
I can't wait for that to happen.
I hope they buy Square. I really hope they do. I know people.
Dave's been talking. Dave's been on the Square train forever. I think it's more about the salt than
it is such
anything.
a good purchase. It makes such financial sense.
Bunty.
Crazy.
I love it. Bunty, what's up, brother?
Thanks,
just
Bunty.
joined us for 2 months as a member. Thank you for joining us, man. We super appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Hey, we got over 160 people. If you guys can, please hit the like button. It does help us. We try to get a goal of at least 200 likes. And what were you gonna say, Dave?
No, you were right. You were right there on it. And then I want to play this clip I had up for like 10 minutes.
Sorry,
real quick. No. I actually probably should have played it first before we started jumping the conversation. But let's just see what this guy has. It's only a minute long.
So is there such thing as the Xbox tax? In my personal opinion, I'm going to have to say, hell yeah. And not only is there a tax, but it comes in many forms. Whether it's intentionally excluding Xbox as a platform that a game is releasing on, media outlets continuously tweeting negative things about certain video games on certain platforms. People with certain media outlets praise PlayStation for being able to lock down exclusive deals, but at the same time, they criticize Xbox for doing the exact same thing. But then when Xbox doesn't have any exclusives, they talking about Xbox has no games. I don't know. And when Xbox Shadow drops an exclusive that everybody seems to like, it's still not good enough for some media outlets.
Yep. The Wasteland.
Maybe it's not an Xbox tax. I can't say for sure, but there's definitely some type of media bias out there. To blatantly disregard all of the evidence presented is crazy to me, but you have to ask yourself the question.
Yep.
Nice.
There you go.
Good on him.
Well
Good
done.
video. I don't know who was that, by the way. Dave, do you remember who?
Yeah, I can pull it back up. That was that was.
I like that logical thinking.
Fly Guy.
That guy.
Fly Guy, GBG, and John Wolf was the one that shared that with us. The real Fly Guy, GBG, is what his ad sign is there for. Yeah, it's pretty good. We may have to get him on sometime.
Yeah, he makes good points.
Yeah, so in retro to your point of will this ever change? Look, things do change over time, but it would take enough of of sort of negative consumer action by PlayStation and a lot of positive on the other side with a flip over of content, right? In other words, there's too much draw to that side, to the Xbox side, that you can't just keep going with the negatives. You end up just saying, nah, I gotta be here. And look, the consumer has started shifting to that side. And so my bread is buttered by saying good things about Xbox. Right now, that's not the case, right? Their consumer generally tends PlayStation. So it actually is better for them to say negative things about Xbox and positive things about PlayStation. But again, if that starts to flip, like you were thinking consoles might flip, I don't know if that's going to happen. I think there's just going to be industry shifts.
I do not.
Yeah,
I don't
and that's going to change
wide
things.
enough ecosystem that it's
it's
like you're saying this game sucks, but 20 million people are playing it. There's only so many times you can pull that before people start looking at you like, "Are you crazy?" Maybe you're out of touch with the gamers. Maybe you're out of touch with everybody else, right? So
yeah.
I mean, with ABK now, along with things like Minecraft, they have gargantuan engagement with consumers, right? There's just no way around it. Hundreds of millions. And in that case, you have to start looking at it from there are a lot of Xbox customers now. There are a lot of Xbox customers that might be looking for things for games that pre-exist. There might be Warzone stuff, Candy Crush stuff. It could be something in Warcraft, whatever it is, right? If you're going to keep alienating everybody, right, that's going to be a problem, right? So they're going to have to start figuring out how to fix that for themselves, right? Because their bread is getting buttered in a certain way, but that's going to change as there's just no way around it. Microsoft is now the revenue leader in comparison to PlayStation.
Yeah, that 400 MAU, you might
that's going to be a thing. Yeah. Exactly, right? And that is what's going to shift it, right? A lot of those customers are not on console. They're on PC, they're on mobile. But that doesn't matter as long as they come to your site to see the information. That's where you need to be, right? You need to say, okay, well, we're going to give articles that people want to see. What's happening with this? What's happening with that? And if you keep saying that the platform that creates those games is bad, it's going to start creating an issue for them, right? So I think it's just going to naturally fix itself as Microsoft keeps getting bigger and there's just more engagement because those consumers will be going to these sites. And if you keep bad-mouthing the game they're going there for, eventually people won't go there. That's just the way it is, right? So you have to kind of deal with it at that point. So we'll see. It's not going to be immediate, but I think over the next 5, 10 years, 15 years, it could flip, right? If I look back at the 360 era, there was a lot of positivity for the Xbox side and a lot of negativity for the PlayStation side. And PlayStation had to do a pivot, had to turn things around. And by the mid PS4, even beginning with the PS4, but mid PS4, they had made it like you have to be here, right? When they started bringing their bangers, you had to be a PlayStation, right? And that's what it's going to take. So Microsoft has to start that shift. They have to fight back. They're doing it. Like, it just takes a while, but they're doing it. And they're gonna get there, right? And so I think having all this, it's gonna start making it more and more challenging to ignore the behemoth, right? Now, this is the biggest game publisher. You have to deal with it, right? So you could say Embracer is, but Embracer has a lot of indie studios. But as far as revenue, as far as, you know, a platform, Tencent has stake in a lot of places, but they don't own everything. Microsoft outright owns a lot, and they are the biggest game publisher now. You have to just kind of contend with that. And
they're not done yet.
We'll see where this goes. Yeah, they're not done. Exactly. They're going to keep going.
Yeah.
And, you know, so Japan is probably next, whatever, right? Maybe the smaller studios. So. Like King was saying, he wants to have, you know, Game of the Year, Baldur's Gate 3. And part of the announcements of the Game Awards is Xbox has acquired Larian Studios.
Jesus, can you imagine?
Man, that would be so brutal, yo. Like, go on, man.
Mic drop.
Take another one.
So Baldur's Gate 3 is coming into Game Pass one way or the other because we own it now.
Oh, I love the King. Crap. King David is amazing. That's a really good thinking there, buddy. I love his new show too. It's so good, so good. That's so awesome. That's so awesome, King, dude. Welcome out to the over 180 people in the chat. Thank you all so much for being here. We are far from done. We're on a roll right now, folks. So we're going to keep going for a little bit, and we have a couple, or at least a super chat to read, and then we'll see what RHETRI has on the plate for us next.
Sure. Yeah. Highlander 001 with the $2 super chat says, "I'm tired of people saying Xbox is going third party." Yeah, I mean. It feels, you know, after what was said or whatever, it feels like a ridiculous thing, especially after the amount of money they spent.
I mean, they're first and third, right?
Think they're going anywhere.
They definitely will continue to put stuff on everything else. They have their own platform, but this is not unnormal for Microsoft. Windows exists. Mac exists. A lot of Microsoft software exists on Mac. Does that mean they should shut down Windows? No, right?
No.
Windows competes with Mac, but that doesn't mean Office has to compete with Mac. Office can be on both. It doesn't matter, right?
It is.
They have their dev tools on both. They don't care. It's like wherever you want to do stuff, do it. We just want you to use their stuff here.
Their philosophy is our software is in many places as possible because that makes us the most amount of money. Because at the end of the day, hardware is not where you make your money. It's software. Even Sony knows this. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. It's crazy, man. Like some people just go off on the deep end. I think there's a lot of, you know, when it comes to like Twitter and stuff like that, when it comes to social media, everything's extreme, right? We can't live in the middle. Everything's going to be black or white. Everything's going to be like Sony's going under or Microsoft is going third party. Will Microsoft exist in 2026? What the F? Come on, guys. Like slow your roll a little bit. Yeah, they're all going to be fine. And honestly, we don't want Sony to go away, guys. That's why we got Game Pass. That's probably why we'll get the family plan. That's why we got Microsoft buying all these studios. We don't want them to go away.
Yes.
We want a hungry Xbox. Exactly, Hargeet. That's exactly what we want. And we would like a hungry PlayStation so they can stop effing and bending over their customers. But we'll see if that ever happens.
There's two things I want you to read. One is what's on the screen, and then another one I think is hilarious.
Abdel just coming out with all the good points tonight. He says, if PG3 is Game Pass, I'll play it. $70. I don't know I don't have a lot of money for something niche. Yeah, and I get you. I don't know. Well, I probably it's one of those things like a FOMO thing. So I probably get it even if it's not in Game Pass. But Remake Station 5 says, "Well, Hargeet, that's too logical." Yeah, get your logic out of here, Hargeet. With no one wants to hear it. Yeah,
you bring it, Hargeet. Love it.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Yeah, so that was the Xbox tax. Maybe the tax. It seems like a triggering word on Twitter right now.
Probably
there's an option
word to use.
It's probably a bad word. I used it too. I'm guilty of it. But you guys, there's a crazy option you can do on Twitter is you can fucking ignore it. You can just move on with your day and not say anything. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Tax. Shut the tax up.
That's why I love Pixel. He's like, oh, I don't give a shit. I'll put my feet on your couch, whatever. Yeah. I love it. So next, after we get off of that subject, which is, you know, polarizing as all hell, is Halo Infinite reaches an impressive player count milestone. They just passed 30 million. So I wanted to, you know, get off of the tax thing and talk about at least something positive It seems that season 5 has brought back a lot of players, including myself. I was a little off of the Halo bandwagon for a while, but man, season 5 is just fire to me. I can't. It's a combination of the maps with the AI Forge going on. It just feels right. It feels like 343 has finally got a good cadence of content going out. You guys got any pointers or anything you want to say when it comes to Halo reaching 30 million? This is not concurrent. I know it's not concurrent, guys.
Individual players, right?
This is individual players. Yeah, over time.
I mean, I was never against them cutting certain aspects of Halo beginning on, even though it suffered through. I did say a long time ago, Halo's not quite ever dead, right? There are Halo people that just love the brand, right? And once it gets its crap together, they tend to come back. But people told me there's no way. It's Halo, right? Like Halo 4 was dead until it wasn't, right? And then Halo 5 came and it was dead until it wasn't. So while they've never at least 343 has not yet managed to nail it all and land, do the heroic Iron Man land quite yet, right? They have, at least with this massive shakeup, being able to improve product over time, right? And it's the same thing that his name Hines. What's his name? Hines, right? Same thing he did with
Pete, but it ain't
it is not Pete, right? But it's the same thing that he did with the Master Chief Collection, right? Which also kind of landed with a thud and dud and then came back roaring, right? Because
very true.
Halo, the one thing about the Halo franchise is there is no other game on the market that quite does what Halo does, right? None of the other games play like it. Destiny is a bootleg of Halo with magic, right? It's not. It's similar in some of its faction concepts, but it doesn't play like Halo, even though it has a great shooting concepts like Halo. But Halo's unique, right? It's shielded combat, longer time to kill. Like there's unique properties to Halo that no other game really does. So it kind of still fills a niche, even though the competition is so much hotter in this market now, and Halo fans kind of just waiting for it to fix itself. Right, so it's nice, right? It's good to see that so many people have come back to it. I haven't because I'm not a multiplayer guy, but if somebody mentions something about a single player campaign being added, all our single player has is back, all our campaign has is coming right back, right? Like Halo people play Halo, bro. It's like it's not a new thing, so it is an impressive turnaround. It's not really that surprising, right? Because Master Chief Collection had the same problem. It didn't have the content. It was disjointed. It had issues. But the minute they added the content, boom, right? People started playing it because it literally is one of those things that just has a baked-in audience, right? And I don't know if Halo fans are like Spartans, right? We're MIA. We're never dead. It's just is what it is, right? Yeah, they're never, they just tend to come back. So. Kudos to 343 for getting it nice, and kudos to Xbox for shaking up leadership there and having them do a proper course correct, right? But back 2 years ago I said, right, Halo was hinged on Forge, right? And as much as people give it grief about being hard to develop for, once people got their hands on Forge, the Forge community does what it does. Right, so it's not
right on the screen right now. You're seeing the Halo 3 maps redone by Forge guys.
Forgers, right? So, it's beautiful, right? Like this is what they do, and they're the engine is designed for this specifically, right? So I think our illustriously panned development system here will remain. Even when Unreal comes into play for single player.
I was wondering if you were going to say that.
Yeah, Unreal will be around for a single player. But I guarantee you, this Halo slit space engine will remain as a multiplayer engine because it is designed to do certain things, right? So
you don't think, not to go off subject, you don't think the Unreal Engine battle royale thing is true? You think that if there is a battle royale, it'll stay in slip space?
I kind of think it would still kind of stay in slip space, right? Only because you would be recreating the wheel, right? And if you really wanted to recreate a wheel, why would you have creative assembly work on? Is it creative assembly? What's the group? It is Creative Assembly,
Oh,
right?
that's
Oh no,
I always mix them up with
Certain
Affinity.
Affinity.
It's a Certain Affinity, yeah.
Yeah,
the
other CA, right?
Right.
They're the other CA, right? But Certain Affinity, like they work on Blam, right? They work on Halo Engine. That's what they do, right? They're not an Unreal company. They're a Blam Engine company, basically, right? They're ex Halo guys. So I would think if it was a different studio, then I would say, yeah, maybe something else. But I think they will still be like MCC uses Unreal for menus. That's
the thing. Like there was a leak, I think today about one of the developers. I think maybe in Certain Affinity, and correct me, chat, if I'm wrong. Saying that there was going to be a mix between the Unreal Engine and Forge, and I'm thinking, and that's exactly where I went to Pixel. I'm like, well. They use Unreal, like you can do both, guys, without it. Yeah, you can use it for menus. So I think people forget that a lot.
There's things you can do, but still have the underlying engine remain what it is. Right. It's a strong physics-based engine. There's no reason for you to abandon the work that's done in that engine that works properly, right? So and you got to consider the amount of time. The amount of time it would take to rebuild what Halo does in its engine in Unreal. That's not happening in the same generation that this game came out. It's just not happening. It takes a lot of time and effort. So,
unless the coalition is working on that too.
the coalition going to have like 10,000 developers by the end of the day, right? So, but yeah, I mean, I think it's awesome. It's great to see people are back in it and they're enjoying it, and it gives Microsoft another big multiplayer active game as a service. Just roll along with, right? So it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Hargeet, you have anything to add to the whole resurgence? We did just hear that Halo did just pass Destiny 2. Before anyone goes at me in the chat, yes, I know that the latest thing of Destiny 2 is coming to an end, and that's probably why their numbers dipped. Their numbers will go back up, but they did just surpass Destiny 2 for the most players, which is a good stat to have. I think it was like either 15th or 16th in line for gas games and these types of games, multiplayer games. We got to remember that this
I think it's
a super competitive. Yeah, this is a super competitive market. So I think when people say, so what? That sounds terrible. It's actually not, I think, as bad as people realize. 15th and 16th in this market, this day and age.
Yeah.
It's not 20 years ago. I think as Ains pointed out on Twitter, and he's right. Like back in the day, it was like 3. Now there's like 50.
Yeah.
So competition is crazy. But what are your thoughts about Halo?
Yeah, I mean, look, when it launched, it had a lot of enthusiasm behind it, right? Halo Infinite won the Players' Voice Award, right, at the Game Awards.
Yeah,
which means people were resonating with it. It was, people were playing it, having fun. The live part of it is what the failure was. The co-op not being there, that sucked. But the live part of it was the issue, right? Not enough maps, not enough content, not enough modes, not enough, challenges, whatever it is, right? That was kind of the headache. They've been slowly fixing that, right? So the first year was kind of fix the game, get co-op, start getting Forge ready. Once that happened, that was this year, right? Basically, they had the beginning of the year. They got Forge ready, and we had season 3, 4, and 5, and it has been a lot better, right? The content drops are happening more frequently. Our seasons are coming in more rapidly, right? You've had 3 so far this year, I guess, right? So that's pretty good, right? And if you keep going down this path, and again, this is a much smaller studio than the equivalents that make much more rapid, frequently updated games. They generally have thousands of people instead of the several hundred that 343 have, right? So with what they have, they're doing a pretty good job. The part of it that matters the most is it fun? And that's the part that's been good about it. As you go into these seasons, it has become more and more fun, right? And especially with season 5, with some of the AI capabilities that are now available in Forge, people have started putting in firefight maps, and there will be an actual firefight official release. But that's so much fun, and that's like that piece of it that's just been missing is finally coming back, right? But that's the thing. So like Halo, for those who have grown up with Halo, who like the gameplay, the core game mechanic, which has still been refined over the years, it's become better and better. If you go back to CE, it's quite different than what we have with Infinite. Yeah. But it's just so fun that like the way it works is kind of unique on its own. This is why Call of Duty keeps going. Is it's time to kill and come back and keep going is so fun that people just stay with it. That's kind of the thing with this is, and it has had a bit of a resurgence. I don't know if it'll continue that way. I think the major modes coming in, if Firefight comes in official,
right,
that could give you a resurgence. But I think if Certain Affinity is actually working on a battle royale, that would be a time to do like a relaunch, right? To say, hey, let's do a marketing campaign. We're giving you this whole new thing. We're going to go into the esports arena. We're going to go to streamers and start redoing it, right? Because that's what they kind of need. They need the buzz, right? And that's part of the marketing of any one of these games. They now have their own internal esports thing with ABK, right? They own one of those.
Yeah.
They also have a lot of what they use, what they leverage, as far as expanding, Call of Duty in all of the streaming community and competition stuff, right? So that's all now part of them, and they can all kind of coordinate as to what they want to do to make Halo more relevant. Now, one of the issues of Halo is that it also is on Xbox only and PC, right? Which is good. At least it's on PC. Right. Whereas a lot of these other games are everywhere, right? So they don't necessarily have the restriction that that Halo has. Even with that, it's still doing fairly well. And I don't want to expect this to beat everything else. Don't expect it to do that, right? It's still going to be hampered by 25 million Xboxes or whatever is out there.
Yeah, I mean,
it is what it is, right?
It's absolutely valid that it's not everywhere. If you look at every single, in the top 10, they're on every platform.
Exactly, right?
And it's by design, not coincidence. So
fair enough that it is where it is. And the hey, my friend circle wants to play something. Halo gives you a slight restriction unless you're on PC or happen to be on Xbox, right? And that is a little bit of a barrier. That's fine. But I think for what it's doing pretty well. It certainly still has few issues here and there. They can keep working those. But like Pierre did with Halo Master Chief Collection, right?
Yeah.
Turning that around. It took years, but turning that around, fixing it so that the community actually likes it. People are coming over from Master Chief Collection over to Infinite now because those Halo 3 maps are there, right? And they're like, hey, we can now play with the new mechanics on Halo Infinite, but the familiar maps, and they're loving their time there, right? So that's going to keep happening, and it's pretty cool that Master Chief Collection still has a lot of players, right? Because it's so incredible,
crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's kind of the thing, right? So hopefully this continues, and they introduce new things. But I think it's going to take one of those big changes. Here we're going to introduce a whole new thing like Battle Royale or something like that, right? Or their take on it. And then relaunch, and get it to the point where the network part of it's good. People aren't having issues, right? It's pretty stable, and they're getting there. It's getting better and better and better. But that is, it's a testament to them actually sticking with it. The other major thing that, of course, I'm waiting for outside of this is where's the campaign stuff?
Yeah,
what's going on with Halo campaign? And we don't have anything.
I think that might have got the axe personally.
They say that's not the case, but it's like, well, okay. Anyway, we'll see.
And they're not saying much about it, so I think, I don't know. I'm not sure we're going to see that.
That's my biggest disappointment. Is that campaign stopped right in the middle, right? Left you hanging, which is okay. That's fine, but I just need to know what's next, right?
I don't feel like it left in the middle. It kind of closed out. It closed out Escherman's story, but I would be sad that if they pull some BS like they did with 4 and not continue this story. If you play Legendary, you saw that Legendary ending, then
that's what I'm talking about. You're like,
exactly where that is.
Right.
Period. No books, no nonsense. Right there in the desert on the same ring. Yeah, continue the story.
Yes. So. Yeah. I would love them to continue that. I don't know where that is, but that's just something.
Maybe it's not about at all. Maybe they're working on a campaign. Hell, I don't know. We don't.
Fair enough, right? Yeah.
Who knows, really?
I'm waiting for that reveal. I don't know when that's going to happen, but yeah, the 30 million, that's fantastic. Good luck to the next 35 for whatever milestone they're looking for. But yeah, it's good news for them. And if you haven't been playing it for a while, you like the kind of the Halo gameplay, try it out. See what you think. There's a lot in there now, so see if it's
there's a lot to like now.
It's
a
free to
crazy
play
amount of
multiplayer
content.
online.
Really. Yep,
Exactly.
exactly. You got nothing to lose, right? Spartan661 with the $5 super chat says Xbox is going to all multiplayer and bringing more parties. They'll start more parties than they will divulge. A party can have friends. Stop ponying. Yeah, absolutely. That's one thing I like about like Xbox gaming is I think it's more of a community base, just because we've been doing multiplayer forever, right? So there's more of us that game together, right? I mean, even with Hargeet, we've all been in that party together, Hargeet, and some of us we're playing different games. Like we'll be playing Halo, Hargeet. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm playing some other game. Okay, but we're all sitting there talking together, man,
Exactly.
because that's how we grew up, man. And it's community. It's absolutely community based Xbox. That's why I love it, man. All right, so we're probably gonna well, let me get your point on this actually, Dave. What do you think about this whole 30 million for this game, this milestone that Halo Infinite passed?
I think it's great, and it's a testament to their hard work and continued efforts to continue to bring, the game up to the level, because it's a franchise that Microsoft is synonymous with them. It was Halo,
Sure.
Gears, and Forza, right? So you can't let it fall by the wayside. You really have to fix it, and that they are fixing it and getting things back on track. Good on them. And I don't think it's a lot of people are, it's washed up, it's done. It is not. This is going to go on forever, and they are. I'm sure there's some things adjusted or things in the thinking. The 10-year plan may have maybe in flux, but they're not going to leave it hanging. I think there's going to be some things that are going to be done, whether it's this new Fortnite type level type play or something else that they might add to the game. And I believe that there will be another some kind of story mode, some kind of single player campaign, hopefully with co-op. But anyway, that they'll do from the ground up that will continue the saga, continue the story, whether it's in Infinite or Halo, blah blah blah, whatever it's going to be,
right? Sure.
So it those kind of things can still coexist, and they can still be worked on. And like I said, now that they have such an amazing, diverse team, so many different great studios, and if you don't think that they can pull, they may be the set engine, which is great, but if they can't, they can, because what I'm trying to say, they can actually pull, some kind of, I guess, a resource or meetings or, ideas from the Call of Duty team. So, maybe you should try this.
Point.
Maybe you should do
a new
this.
Resource,
maybe,
right? Yeah.
Why not? To keep it fresh, to keep it growing, to keep it going. Oh my God, dude.
I would go further. What if they take
a lot of these guys might be sick and tired of working on Call of Duty? What if you want to work on something different?
Exactly.
Okay, all right. See, that's
what
why
if
I love
Sledgehammer's like, we're getting sick of getting piled on every time. We're gonna go do something else. And here's the thing.
Let's go to the other game that gets also piled on.
But you do a different thing. You don't do what they're so instead of saying let's make Halo Infinite part next.
Yeah.
Here's the thing you could do. You could say like, the Spartans, when they were forming up and Master Chief's there, he had missions where he was starting out, right? Why don't we do that? Why don't we have a campaign going back in time of Halo, Master Chief learning the ropes and actually going out and doing his first few missions, and then going from there,
fighting the insurrectionists. I mean, yes,
exactly. And then hearing rumors about what the hell's going on, and then suddenly this Covenant thing is like, right? Because that was what they were doing, right? They were out there figuring shit out, right? It's like, that could be a total backstory you could do. It's the same with Gears, by the way. You could do the same thing with Gears and go back in time to before the original.
They did Halo and Gears 4, didn't they? They did a flashback to the prior to the emergence stage.
Yes,
right.
Yeah,
they had a very small section.
But imagine having an actual
full blown game on that
whole game. Yo, there's so many options.
So much Hargeet, you're right. There's so many things they can do. I've been clamoring for a damn flood horror game forever. It's not going to happen, but I want it to happen.
Yes.
It's right there.
Bring back the flood.
Yeah.
Right? Because it could be at a different time frame, right? And it could be like, hey, we're an ODST team tasked to go do this. So we're not a Spartan
exactly
team.
what I want. Yes.
And and
it's got to be ODST.
And watch
That's exactly
all
what I want.
things that just like that, like it had the Halo ODST, right? That game, which was an offshoot, was so good though, because like you weren't the big super soldier, right?
Yeah.
You had to now take everything slowly and make sure you don't get taken over, right, and killed. Imagine that. The whole thing could just be that. So it's ODSTs going into a ring and trying to figure this out, and there's flood everywhere. And dude, there's so much potential. I don't know why they don't just like these things.
A lot of lore there.
Somebody make sure they clip this part out and tag Phil in it. Okay, just saying.
Yeah.
Well, let's see this is for freebie. That's it.
You're welcome, Phil.
Exactly. And Reggie, I don't know if you're ready to wrap up or not, but I did kind of throw another topic in there.
Go for
it. Last minute one because we're talking about the quote unquote resurgence of Halo, and and this is not back to the tax thing, I promise, but I'm gonna put this up on the screen, and then I've actually got some more evidence, I guess, as you were to put up there. All right, so there's the banner on the new subject that let me get this comment off here real quick. And then I'm going to add these real quick. Share screen. Boom shakalaka. All right.
I just laughed because I saw who it was. I was like, what is this?
We really got to get J-Rock on here.
Get J-Rock. You got to get J-Rock on here. He's funny.
You got to get J-Rock on here. Exactly. So
we will get J-Rock, definitely. I'll contact him.
So go ahead and read the
want me to read the headline of it?
Yeah, the headline, please.
Thingies. All right. So it's from Charlie Intel, great Modern Warfare Twitter page. Activision says Modern Warfare 3 has set records for the highest player engagement out of the current Modern Warfare trilogy, and Modern Warfare Zombies is the most played co-op mode in Modern Warfare history. I absolutely believe that because I've played a shit ton of the zombies. I wasn't sure if the open world zombies was going to work. In my opinion, it works very well. So did you want me to read any of these other little things or just
we'll do that.
Bring that up? Sure. This is them just thanking them. The season, we are thankful for you. Thank you for a historic launch. Just 2 weeks in, MW3 has already set records with the highest engagement in the new Modern Warfare trilogy. Thank you for inspiring us and spending so much time in this game. Your feedback and passion continually make us better, and thank you for playing with us. It's been a blast, and there's so much more fun in store. So it's one of those things. It's like, it's doing fine, guys. It might not have sold as well as MW2, but these guys always sell. You know what I mean? More hours per players
nice
overall.
They put this out too.
Yeah, I mean, like and this is very much like this is what Microsoft does all the time. They like to show engagement, right? Engagement is extremely important to them, and in the future of Game Pass. So, it's crazy to see. MWZ is the most engaging third mode in MW history. Campaign players putting in more time per player in MW3 than the previous 2 installments.
That's
I know
crazy.
it's got I got to tell you, dude, I'm back. Just like Halo Season 5 brought me back, I am absolutely loving this Modern Warfare. So I've been like shielding it and sort of like all this bullcrap press that has come at this. I don't get it. I love it. Sure, maybe it was like DLC and you guys are mad about the maps, whatever. Whatever. I'm okay with it. I absolutely love this one. I think it's fantastic, and I cannot stop playing it. So.
Now, this is funny, right? Because this game came out after it was purchased by Microsoft. So everybody knows it's coming to Game Pass. It's coming. It's coming to Game Pass.
It's coming.
Despite that.
100%. Despite
all these records. That means people are buying it, right? They're buying the game anyway. And they're engaging.
Yeah, it's sort of like Starfield showing up in the top 7th sold game all year and still being in Game Pass. Imagine that. Game Pass people buy games.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
On top of giving them $17 a month.
Yes, we're
we're still buying games.
As Pixel said earlier, I'm dumb. Like, yeah, we just spend money because like we can't help ourselves. So,
well, I mean, for me, it absolutely works, right? As I said, I had 100+ games installed. I have played way more than that $17. I've played way more than that $17.
I'm right there with you, Hargeet. I think we all do. I think if you were to compare, like, no offense to PlayStation guys, but if you look at a Game Pass subscriber, I guarantee we outplay you like 5 to 1. I guarantee you we game harder than you do. So don't come at me with you game a lot bullshit. Game Pass subscribers game a lot, dude, because we never stop. Yep. So yeah, I absolutely agree with that sentiment, Hargeet. But yeah, that's all I get, Dave. So the only other news I had was that Starfield, the developers were saying that they're going to continue supporting Starfield, and they get 250 people backing them up on that out of the 450 that are working. Out of the 450 team members are working on the game. So I just wanted to bring that up. I think it's good news. So we, there's going to be plenty more Starfield. There'll be plenty more Starfield content coming out.
Maybe we can learn about the
250 people. That's no joke, dude. That's that's another AAA studio. That's massive.
Yeah, there's so much more they can do with that.
It's
so many more factions. We can learn about the other faction and forget about it when modding starts, because there's entire planets that need universes. So let's go.
And they can take the rest of that team and put that toward the Elder Scrolls exclusive that's coming to Game Pass and Xbox.
That's what everybody else is working on. They moved over to that game.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be great.
It's just a note about Starfield. Those tiles that everybody was talking crap about, those tiles, you can build on every single one of those tiles, and every planet has 1,000 of those tiles. Just saying. Just saying.
It's a big game.
It's that kind of game. Just saying.
Yeah. It's an RPG, guys. It's made to do that.
I love it. Well, man, what a great show tonight. Awesome panel, amazing chat. Thank you all so much for the super chats and for all the new members that we had. And remember, look, we got to do this real quick.
My man. What's going on? J Mac, member for 4 months. Shout out to the Gamers Council podcast. Salute to you, sir, man. One of the great guys in the community.
Salute to the fellow gray beard, no doubt.
Gray beard,
Graybeard's gaming. No he made that up. You need to make shirts, sir. If not, I'll make some shirts for you. But we will be having. Speaking of JMac, we will. I don't remember if we talked about this, JMac, but you will be on this show, brother.
There will be a future episode when J-Mac will be in here spilling the bars. It's going to happen. I promise. 100%. I promise. But yeah, man, like I said, just thank everybody for being here. And we do have a level tier that's just $1. If you can, great. If you can't, that's cool. But it does get you a lot of these cool freaking emojis that we're working on, and we continue to rotate some in and out. But the nice thing about it, we changed some of the tier part to where it's like, we're not going to do a exclusive members only once a month. What we do is, because you become a member, it enables us to do something for everybody. So it's a bonus show. So we basically do 5 a month.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. So thanks to everybody that becomes a member for doing that. And let's as we go around the horn, let's start with the man, the myth, the legend. And Hargeet, well, I'm talking about you, sir. Hargeet Chani,
yes,
sir, thank you so much for being here, man. I love everything you do and all the shows that you're on. And I know RDX will be back pretty soon. So, but tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
Yeah, well, I'm not on social media. You can find me on Discord at HChani, and my gamer tag on Xbox is HChani. So that's where you can find me. Also, check out Game On Daily, gameondaily.com, and then youtube.com/gameondaily. And Gaz has his own little thing going on for it. We'll start getting more content, but he's doing his own thing with Septic Sauce to kind of differentiate the brand versus all the negative stuff. But the fun stuff. Stuff. But yeah, like the not going after people. Yeah, Gaz does the opposite. But anyway, so check that out. Septic Sauce is the channel on YouTube. And then so RDX, I hope will come back. I don't know if it'll be this week or next week, but Dealer's working out getting all his stuff together. I think he's been online now. Finally, he's back online. So hopefully that's enough to get us up. But if not, then we'll probably be a week or two out. We'll get back to having RDX, and that's usually Tuesdays at 8 p.m. US Eastern time. And then I'm on Primetime Gaming with Boom on his channel, Double Barrel Gaming, and that's Wednesdays at 7 p.m. US Eastern time. So check that all out.
Awesome. Hargeet, again, thank you so much for being here. I've told you in the green room, man, you're one of our favorites, and I do mean that. And of course, and every time I've always asked him, he's yeah, sure. And I love it, man. I love it. And we always have a great time with you, man, because like I said, you you bring a perspective and fun, Clippy, that we love to the show. So thank you so much for that. And of course, one of our a really great a member of the community that jumps in and answers every time we call for him as well. This is like the third or fourth time he's been on our show.
Yeah, another guy we've had a bunch.
It's been a pleasure every time.
You know what? And the thing is, you keep it real, and we love that. And please let everybody know where you're at on Twitter and those kind of things, where they can reach out to you and start up a conversation, or where they can play online with you.
You can find me on Xbox on the Pixel Pixelbit G. You can find me on Twitter, now known as X, as Pixelated G. Goddamn, I couldn't spell. And sometimes you can find me on these shows, and maybe one day you actually find me talking my own shit on my own channel. But we shall see. I'm kind of in the process of deciding if I want to take this seriously or not. But it is always a pleasure to join you guys on this show. I mean, it's like literally always a great time. So whenever you guys call, I will show up, as well as the second time working with my man Hargeet. Yo, I rocks with you, dude. Like, I appreciate what you do, man. We don't always agree on shit, but I do appreciate what you do every time, man. It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
So if Hargeet's on, I'm happy to show up as a counterbalance.
Exactly.
Today you won the battle, my friend. Do more than Game Pass, but it's always a good time. So it's what's up.
Yeah, and Viper, we do appreciate you subbing the channel. Thank you so much. If everybody gets a chance to hit to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. If you've been watching a later date, please do that. Yeah. And I want to make sure we push this as we go to RHETRI. He has the Game Pass Daily YouTube channel, and there is I'll drop it in for him as well as he did. But please go over and subscribe to his channel, because he has got some things in the works that I think probably about the beginning of the year is probably when you're gonna be dropping.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at. Sometime in January. There will be another podcast, you lucky duckies.
Exactly.
So and we'll bring the heat 100%. There'll be no holding back on that one either, obviously. But if you guys don't mind subbing to Game Pass Daily. Obviously, I talk about Game Pass. I'm a Game Pass shill. I got no shame in that. I think it's awesome. I think it saves us money, and I'm here for that. I'm a cheap gamer, so I'm all about it. And I'm greedy too. So go to Japan next, Microsoft. Let's go. But yeah, thank you guys. Pixelbit, man. I and Hargeet, like there's a reason we keep inviting these guys back on. I love every time we do a podcast with them. We always have a great time. Conversation is on point. In chat, you guys killed it tonight as usual. Please, before you go, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you're new here, if you like the content, and subscribe if you didn't like the content. But thanks, guys, for coming out. And thank you, Dave.
Does that make sense?
Always.
I was just kidding.
I'll take a sub either way we can get it.
There you go. I did also drop. We do have merchandise. It's available. Not everybody has to get it or nothing like that. If you don't want it, you don't want it. But it's there for you if you do. I know I saw our man Shaun, who was sporting the shirt on a couple of his shows. And speaking of that, next week's episode, one of the big topics we're going to cover is the results from the Game Awards show. Every aspect of it. The awards, who won what, and of course what big games or things were announced,
trailers,
and exactly, and did Xbox bring the heat like we think that they are going to, and should, by all accounts, they should dominate the show in advertising. That's our thoughts. But we have very special guests.
Let's go.
Exactly. We have very special guests next week. We have Shaun and Dirt Griggity from TTS themselves will be here. So I guarantee you they are going to talk that shit. There's no doubt about it. As look at the little pony on his It's so sweet. Hargeet's got the pony showing.
He's got so many of these just like ready to go.
Lies of ponies.
I love it. I love it.
I didn't even see that. Oh, I love it. Even better. Oh my god, that just became 10 times better. I'm so glad you said that. I didn't even notice that. Oh my god. I love you, Hargeet.
Oh, so nice. So nice.
Oh, goodness. And everybody in chat dropping TTS. Heck yeah, heck yeah. So, like I said, next Saturday's show is going to be, or Sunday's show, excuse me, it's going to be crazy, off the hook. So, same bat time, same bat channel. Thank you all so much for being here, and thanks everybody for joining us here on the Gamers Council.
3, 2. Game over.